You're listening to the Europa League Live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. And the Talksport tonight comes from Villa Park, out of Aston Villa's Europa League match with Maccabi Tel Aviv, where we're currently experiencing a light show ahead of kickoff. Hear the Villa fans in good voice, although there are a lot of empty seats here tonight. Remember, there are no away fans in the stadium tonight. Threat of protests also loom over the game. So let's take you back to our reporter, Nick Ellaby, who's outside the ground with the very latest. Nick?
Good evening, Natalie. A little bit of trouble outside the ground here. We've got this pro-Palestinian protest underneath the Trinity Road stand. I've just seen one young man being led away by the police in handcuffs. We know there's been at least 6 arrests here this evening in the last half an hour. Well, it is very peaceful, but Villa fans just joined me here. He's saying it's peaceful. It is quite peaceful, but we know West Midlands Police have made 6 arrests, right? A boy, 17, for failing to comply with a dispersal order. There have been 3 people arrested for racially aggravated public order offences, and also 1 arrested for a breach of the peace. I don't know whether the guy I just saw being led away in handcuffs was one of those 6. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening. Good luck to Villa tonight. A lot of people obviously wanting to stop and chat to Talksport. Also, quite a lot of a few pro-Palestine protesters just going past. A few of the Villa fans actually just leaning over the corner of the Holt end to harangue some of the pro-Palestinian protesters. When I was talking to Times Radio just about 20 minutes ago, there was a huge commotion underneath the Trinity stand. A lot of people rushed over, including police and dog teams. I think there must have been a little bit of a flare-up. There is a section 60A around the ground which says that people can't have face coverings, and I think one boy was arrested for not removing his face covering. Apart from that, not sort of too crazy out here, Natalie.
OK, Nick, thank you very much for that. We'll have more from Nick as and when. Don't forget, Crystal Palace against AZ Alkmaar is underway at 8 o'clock in the Conference League, and you can find full commentary of that one over on Talksport 2. Download our app and swipe between the 2 stations. We'll also bring you updates on that game, as well as Rangers against Roma. Let's quickly get the thoughts then for this game here at Villa Park from Andy Townsend, who is our co-commentator for this game, and something I wanted to very quickly pick up on with the England squad announcement tomorrow morning live on Talksport. Morgan Rogers, you already mentioned. I mean, he had a pretty impressive first half against Liverpool. It was one of the stars for Villa, I thought. Yeah. What about Ollie Watkins? Where do we stand on him right now? He's on the bench.
I think Ollie is always going to be in the frame there or thereabouts. Look, he's just not been amongst the goals.
One goal.
Yeah, it's just the one for him. That happens. I think any striker will tell you that they have spells where it's not quite happening. Look, the beauty for Ollie, there's tons of games coming at him. He is going to play. He's going to start under Unai Emery. There will be opportunities. The team struggled at the start of the season. But again, that's an area I think that the manager will be looking at. They need to provide Ollie with more chances. They need to score more goals all round. Yeah. I mean, for Matty Cash to be joint top scorer for Villa says it all. Matty's been in excellent form, but there's no way he should be joint top scorer of Villa right now. There are others that need to start stepping up. So Ollie knows that he's got to provide his numbers, Nat, when he gets chances. I'm sure, like all strikers, at a bad spell, they get a couple, and then all of a sudden that opens the floodgates for a good few more. I hope so for his sake.
Yeah, he's on the bench tonight. We will see if he'll make an appearance. Unai Emery in his programme notes said, I'm quite satisfied with how we have competed in the last matches, playing with personality, dominating, getting chances to score, but we need more and we need to improve. Tonight is a great opportunity for Aston Villa. Bear in mind, although Maccabi Tel Aviv are unbeaten domestically, they don't fare particularly well when it comes to life in Europe. They're seeking their first win in the Europa League this season, and in fact last season they only won 2 of their games, bowing out to the first stage as well. So an interesting night awaits certainly ahead of this one. As a reminder for you, with protests outside the stadium, we'll keep you updated if we hear of any cause for concern as we go throughout the game and this evening, or any other news surrounding Villa Park too. On the field, we'll bring you updates on all of the Europa League games this evening, including updates on Rangers against Roma and Crystal Palace's clash with AZ Alkmaar in the Conference League, which is live right now over on Talksport 2. But right now, it is time to see if Aston Villa can return to winning ways in the Europa League as they take on the Israeli champions Maccabi Tel Aviv. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. So let's hand you to your match commentators with the teams in the tunnel and with smoke all across the pitch because of all the fireworks and flames that have been going off. They have certainly set ourselves up for an interesting evening. It is then Aston Villa against Maccabi Tel Aviv. The former Aston Villa midfielder Andy Townsend is alongside your match commentator for tonight, Jim Proudfoot.
Natalie, thank you, and a very good evening to you. It's the fourth match in Villa's European campaign, one that has drawn significantly more publicity than the others combined. But in the shadow of protest, there is a game of football to be played here this evening. Villa fans of a certain age have tasted European glory before. Words of commentator Brian Moore etched in 6-foot-high letters on the Doug Ellis stand, commemorating Peter Wibb's European Cup winning goal, the single most important kick of the ball in the club's history. And now, 43 years on, can they write another historic chapter? They're warm favourites to win the Europa League under the auspices of a coach who's masterminded a record-breaking 4 triumphs in this competition. The immediate target, 16 points in their 8 group stage games, because that would appear to be a passport to the last 16. Only the top 8 qualify automatically. Villa started the day 10th, their destiny hinging around their remaining home games. As for Maccabi, well, they've struggled in Europe, coming here after back-to-back defeats in home fixtures against both Dinamo Zagreb and the Danish side Midtjylland, and they need a sudden and significant improvement on those performances if they're to stand a chance of the top 24 finish. That will take them into the playoffs. The teams emerge from the tunnel, away to our left-hand side, led out by the Austrian referee Julian Weinberger. And Villa looking like this. Andy Martinez in goal tonight. Konsta, Lindelof, Pau Torres and Maatsen the back four. Nakada and Anana in midfield. Gesson, Rogers and Sancho. And Daniel Mahler is the man that leads the line. The Villa bench tonight. Cash, Barkley, McGinn, Tielemans, Buendia and Watkins. Digne, Kamara, Broggio and Elliott. And the keepers, 17-year-old Reece Oakley. Big night for him. And Marco Bizot, who has kept a couple of clean sheets in Europe already this season for the Villa. And Maccabi have Mishpati in goal. They've got the Dutch defender Tyrese Asante at right back, Shlomo alongside Kamara at centre-half. Kamara, who played for Young Boys Bern in their defeat to Villa in the Champions League last season. Revivo plays at left-back, Noy and Sissoko in the heart of midfield. Davida and Elia Varela, the Cape Verde winger, who's going to the World Cup. And then Peretz, the star man, in behind striker Madmon. Up front, their bench for the record: Eitel Andrade, Yeheshkel, Krupa, Ben Harosh, Lederman, Abu Farshi, Shahar, Ben Hamo, Nicolaescu, and the keepers Malika and Shirafi. Well, the tannoy is doing its bit to try and build an atmosphere, and it has to be said, for various well-publicised reasons. It's a little subdued here at Villa Park tonight, but that doesn't take anything away from the significance of the 3 points.
No, huge game, Jim, in the context of any competition. Home match is vitally important, so Villa need to make sure they start well. Yeah, it's that sort of atmosphere. It will be an expectant Villa crowd. They will believe that their team are superior and they're expected to see a win. So because of that, you need to start well. You don't want a casual, sloppy, slow start, which just might invite perhaps some disappointment from the terraces. So start well, get them right behind you.
And the home form has been really impressive. And they had that poor start of this season, but they won the last 8 here last season.
Yeah.
And they've won the last 4 here coming into this.
Correct. And one of those being Manchester City, which I was here to witness that. They played very well, absolutely deserved their win. So yeah, look, they are formidable at Villa Park. They have genuinely turned this place into a fortress. Very few teams walk out of here with a win. So tonight, no exception to that. I think the players, even though it's a changed team, a much changed team, I think those players are good enough to make sure they get this done properly.
And you talked about the fact that it is a very significant night for Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers' form after... I mean, I remember the first European game that they played here this season against Bologna, where he had the crowd on his back and he misplaced the pass in the second half and he was getting booed. And then he played a half-decent ball and there was a wave of ironic cheers.
Yes. Credit to him.
He's been able to turn that situation back around.
He has. We've started to see recently Morgan producing some of the stuff that he was doing on a regular occasion last season. He plays every week. I don't think there's a Villa player that plays more minutes under Unai than Morgan Rogers. I mean, he literally plays every game. But Yuri Tielemans is back. He's on the bench this evening, which is great news for the manager because he's a proper player. They need him back as fit as they can. But tonight represents a genuine chance for a few. Victor Lindelof, we know what he's all about. He'll be expected to come in and pick it up pretty quickly. But Jadon Sancho, I think now it's time Jadon really shows everyone what he's about, that he really does have desire to get his A-game back in shape.
Well, it's unclear why there's been a delay to kick-off. The team's late out of the tunnel and then taking an age to get themselves in position for their photographs. I think part of it's probably to allow the smoke to clear after all the pyrotechnics. It's still hanging in the air, Andy, but...
It is.
Hopefully we'll be in a position to get underway before we're 5 minutes late.
Yep, pretty soon I'm sure we'll be underway. You're right, there was some serious pyrotechnics and fireworks going off right on top of the ground actually just about 15 minutes ago, and it's only just clearing now, but I think we're good to go, Jim.
That's a Villa in their famous claret and blue with white shorts, and Maccabi in predominantly yellow with two dark blue stripes down the front. It will be them who will get us underway. The first touch for Dor Perez, who certainly the most experienced of the Maccabi players, a man who had a brief spell in Serie A early in his career with Venezia, and he's in possession here immediately, attacking the edge of the Villa penalty area but not getting too far. That's the Villa able to get it away, get it forward towards Morgan Rogers, although it's easily picked up the back by Kamara. He lays it down for the Dutchman Asante, who in turn finds his goalkeeper Roy Mishpati, who's in salmon pink tonight, taking a touch, firing it long. Should be easy for Victor Lindelof to knock it away. Lindelof has actually started at right back. We were expecting that Konsa would move out there and that Lindelof would play in the middle with Pau Torres, but the Swede is playing at full back with Esri Konsa in the middle.
Yes, he certainly is, And again, I mentioned he's vastly experienced, Victor Lindelof, so he'll be one of those players that whenever he plays, whenever he goes into this Villa team, he'll be expected to pick it up instantly, pretty quickly. So no problems there, I'm sure.
0-0 between Villa and Maccabi as we try and get the ball forward towards Donyell Malen, and Rogers were making a third man run through the midfield as well as Kamara that was there to mop it up. This game brought to you with TNT Sports, the home of European football, and we'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on elsewhere tonight. Live over on Talksport 2 right now, Palace in action as they take on the informed Dutch side AZ. The line being led by Troy Parrott, the former Spurs man. He's got 13 goals in his 12 games this season. That's live for you right now over on Talksport 2. As again, we give you a choice of listening. Rangers are underway at home to Roma. That's still 0-0. Celtic beaten by Midtjylland, who've got a 100% record in this Europa League and a top of the group at the moment. Ball played over Donyell Malen's shoulder, but he's unable to bring it down. Sissoko can and turns neatly away from trouble. Then Bakada is on his toes straight away, so he's forced to lay it back towards the edge of his own penalty area. But Villa mop up with Pau Torres, and now Konsa's got it. Couple of minutes in, Andy, still 0-0.
Yeah, still 0-0. Reasonably bright start from the home team. Morgan Rogers, I think, will enjoy playing just in behind Donyell Malen. Amadou Onana in possession right now. Bakada in the middle of the park will sit there and protect, of course. Jadon Sancho will be down here off the left-hand side along with Ian Maatsen, of course, and on the far side, Evan Gesson will be supported out there by Victor Lindelof when they can get forward.
The other results involving British and Irish clubs earlier today in Europe, incidentally, Forest 0-0 at Sturm Graz with Morgan Gibbs-White missing a penalty. in the first half of that game. Aberdeen got a very creditable goalless draw away to AK Larnaca, who beat Palace. And Aberdeen on the back of a 6-0 defeat last time out in Europe, getting their first point of the campaign. Shamrock Rovers 1-1 at AK Athens. They nearly won it as well. A goal they conceded, a 90th minute penalty. Now we'll keep you up to date with all of the goals as they go in over the course of the night. There's one game in League One as well tonight between Reading and Stevenage. Will go top if they win, but that is also 0-0 in the early stages.
Yeah, whenever Maccabi have decided to serve it forward quite quickly, instantly coming straight back. So Madmon, who's the guy leading the line for the visiting team, whenever he gets the ball into his feet, chest, whatever, he's got to do everything he can to try and hang on to it, to allow his team to come and join in a bit. Otherwise, that ball is going to be coming straight back.
Yeah, he's not prolific, that Madmon. He's only scored 4 goals this season in 18 games, and that includes a couple of penalties in his last 2 matches. So he's a leader of the line who's there to bring Peretz into the game, really, rather than necessarily score goals himself. Here come Villa again, breaking down the right-hand side with a cross from Gesson that's blocked by the left-back Revivo, and it goes out of play for a Villa throw, about 15 yards from the corner flag. You're with Talksport. We're in the 5th minute of this slightly delayed game here in Birmingham tonight. Villa 0, Maccabi Tel Aviv 0. Here's Pau Torres with the ball, that little bit deeper. He's around the edge of the centre circle as he picks it up and finds Ian Maatsen. Then gets a return ball from Anana, who exchanges passes in the midfield with Bakada. Maatsen able to drive forward, skips round the challenge, and then turns into trouble. It's Asante that wins it back and can knock it away. And the pacey winger Davida now can bring it forward towards halfway. But he can't get back past Maatsen, who quickly got back goal side. And Maccabi maintaining possession are forced to go all the way back to their goalkeeper, who wants a touch. Marlon not really closing him down with that huge amount of intensity. And Mishpati will clear. Lindelof's got plenty of time to mop it up at the back for Villa. Finds Konsa. Villa will bring it forward again. It's a night that they're going to see an awful lot of the ball against a well-disciplined defensive unit.
They certainly are. Already Morgan Rogers just floating around in that number 10 position behind the Maccabi midfield. He's already picked it up in 2 or 3 good situations.
Maatsen getting the ball inside the penalty area. Chested down neatly enough. Sissoko wanting time to be able to get it away. He was given it. Now the ball is worked down the right-hand side, and Asante trying to release Davida, who might just get there ahead of Pau Torres. He does. The Spaniard quickly back goal side towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's rolled across the edge of the box for a right-footed shot that's blocked well by Konsa. Comes back out towards Peretz. That was all a little bit too easy, though, for Maccabi to bring it forward down the right. Yeah,
it was a good run, actually, from Davida down the right touchline. Ball played to him. Maatsen was high up the field. His cross was blocked, so he was out the picture. And they very quickly exploited that space down the right side. Had a reasonable opportunity as well to work Emi Martinez, but for a good block from Ezri Konsa.
There's been a goal in that League One game. Reading leading Stevenage 1-0 with Charlie Savage scoring the goal as the shot comes in on the turn on the edge of the penalty area from Madmon. Is very comfortably saved by Emi Martinez. Almost disdainfully saved as he just put his hands down by his left foot to bring the ball into his stride. First shot on target of the night goes at Maccabi's way, and it remains 0-0 here at Villa Park.
This is the first sort of glimpse we've had from the visiting team as an attacking entity. Up to now they've been backpedaling towards the edge of their own 18-yard box, but that was a little brighter and better from them.
Elsewhere in the Europa League tonight, PAOK against Young Boys still 0-0, but the Swiss side already down to 10 men with Gigovic set off. Ian Maatsen is in possession on the left-hand side. He shows the strength in this Villa team that Emery makes 5 changes. 3 of the players that he brings in all played in the Champions League final at the back end of the season before last. Sancho, Marlon and Maatsen. Gesson has the ball now over on the Villa right. Buzz of anticipation as he picks it up, trying to take on the full-back Revivo. He checks back on the edge of the penalty area, lays it in towards Rogers. Picard with a reverse ball. Sancho didn't quite read it, probably wouldn't have got to him anyway. Maccabi can clear, comes down for Maatsen, who turns into trouble. Madmon's dispossessed him, and Villa have got to get bodies back pretty quickly here. Madmon's got nothing in the way of support, so he has to make his way out of the left-hand side. Finds Peretz. Peretz working it to Noy. Out to Elio Varela. Now the left-back Revivo is on the scene. And his ball through the midfield was a poor one. Sissoko's got it. Sissoko laying it back out to the left, and play now stops because Maccabi have a player down injured just outside their own penalty area, and with the ball in a relatively neutral part of the pitch, play can stop so the treatment can be administered. It's still 0-0 with 8 minutes gone here at Villa Park.
Yeah, not exactly sure what happened there to Maccabi's Kamara. He's just lining the D on the edge of his own box, and the ball was 65-70 yards away up the other end of the field. He's sitting upright again now. If he gets up and starts walking around and he's okay, Jim, I'd be a little annoyed if I was one of his teammates, because they were up on the edge of the Villa box for only the second time in the game so far. But it does look like he's now about to get up. We'll see. He certainly stayed down for a long time.
Well, he's having some medical treatment just being administered to him on the edge of the D, but I think he is going to be able to continue. It was just a 50-50 challenge with Marlon, really, and maybe just got a bang around the rib cage, and that's what's done the damage. Yeah. And while he's receiving the treatment, let's go to Selhurst Park, our live game over on Talksport 2. Palace against RZ in the Conference League. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Nearly quarter of an hour gone. Palace 0, RZ 0, but Palace have already gone mighty close to scoring. Free kick headed across goal by Richards, and Ismail Assar 8 yards out with a shot which came back off the far post. They've got a good opportunity now with a really long throw on the near side as well. Palace trying to dominate here. Palace 0, RZ 0 as it goes into the goalkeeper's hands. Live on Talksport 2.
So, still waiting for the deadlock to be broken there, but it has been at Ibrox. David Tanner.
And it's Rangers 0, Roma 1 after a very even start with very few chances. It's the Italians who go ahead. A corner kick from the right, and Matthias Surla, the Argentinian, headed home. Rangers 0, Roma 1.
Rangers still without a point in the competition this season. Bottom of the 36-team group. You probably are going to need 10, I would imagine. 9 or 10. 9 with a good goal difference. Probably 10 to be able to make it through. So if Rangers lose tonight, they're going to need 3 wins and a draw from the last 4 games to stand any chance.
Yeah, they're starting to give themselves mountains to climb. Look, they've gone behind, but there's plenty of time for them to try and get back into that game. There were signs for them with the new coach at the weekend against Celtic, even though despite losing a man, I think the performance by many was viewed as half decent. But they now need to start turning decent stuff and decent performances into wins.
So Rangers 36 as things stand. Villa, for the record, right now, 9th out of 36. Top 8 is what you want. Still expected to get there with 2 winnable home games coming up after this one. Ian Maatsen lays the ball back through the midfield towards Onana. Maccabi back up to their full complement of 11 because Kamara, having received that treatment, is back on the field. Onana's got the ball at his feet. It's down a walking pace at times here for Villa. Onana just pointing exactly where he wants the ball to be played. To be watching Simon Rattle just up the road with the CBSO. That'll predate Onana's time here in Birmingham. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cultural reference for the kids, but just looked as though he was with baton in hand.
He was
orchestrating exactly what should go where. The ball laid back for Pau Torres now. It tries to play it forward, split the lines. For Morgan Rogers to chase, but Revivo's there and can knock it off Guessong, and he goes out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah. Again, one of the things I think on a night like tonight, when the Villa players know they've got to make the run in, they've got to keep their foot to the floor, is all the time they reset and recycle, which they do a lot under Unai Emery. Don't want to do it too much, not tonight. I don't think that's always necessary this evening. There's a lot of room out there to play 10, 15-yard passes and get people going.
Kamara is down again, and I think now his race is probably run. The medical staff making their way on, not particularly quickly. I mean, they're trying to get there quickly, not particularly quickly. He's going to need to receive some more treatment. I think he will be coming off. Let's go back to Selhurst Park. Ian Abrahams.
Penalty to Crystal Palace. Palace 0, RZ 0. Ismail Assar was brought down. Initially, the referee didn't give it. He thought it was offside. VAR checked it. Wasn't offside. Definite penalty. And Jean-Philippe Mateta has the ball on the penalty spot. He's waiting. He's got about a 4-yard run-up, I would guess, before he takes this penalty. I'm not quite sure what he's waiting for because everybody's outside the penalty area comfortably and the referee's told him to get on with it. Here comes Mateta now, right-footed, and it's been saved! And it remains on Talksport 2. Palace 0, RZ 0.
Well, Morgan Gibbs White missed one for Forest earlier in the Europa League. Mateta missing a penalty for Palace in the Conference League tonight. Still 0-0 in that game. Live for you right now on Talksport 2. Maccabi forced into making the change. Kamara coming off. And Heitor, the Brazilian centre-half, who's played club football in his homeland, Estonia, Hungary, and now Israel, is the man that comes on to replace him.
So much travelled. Well, he's got to get up to speed pretty quickly. Kamara with that challenge with Daniel Marlon. Looked like he got bang in the ribs and has never really recovered from that.
And now Peretz has gone down, I would suggest a little softly, under a challenge from Pau Torres. Unless Pau Torres stepped on his foot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just might have caught him on his foot. Basically, the ball was with the centre-half next to the goalkeeper. It's knocked forward. Peretz is showing for it. Pau Torres really tight behind him, but crumpled to the ground with a big scream, I might add. Wins the free kick and he's back up running.
A good player though, Peretz. He's scored more than 60 goals from midfield for Maccabi at a rate of about 1 every 6 games, and nearly 400 games into his career for them. More than 50 caps for his country as well. He's okay. Gets on, has possession, forced back inside his own half. 0-0 here in a really stop-start game, a late starting game, and it feels as though it's barely got going with the 15 minutes we played, Andy.
No, it hasn't, not really.
Sancho, we haven't seen too much of, but he's just spun the ball down towards Maatsen here.
I think Ian Maatsen he's an aggressive running young man in that left-back position. What I would like to see him do when he gets wide with the ball, high up the field, put something in the box with some real pace on it. A couple of crosses he's played earlier on this evening, trying to pick people out, trying to clip things up, drop it on a sixpence. Forget that. When you're widening in those areas, get it in there, whipped in with plenty of pace, and make your forwards and midfield players get on the end of it.
Torres playing it into the feet of Sancho, but his control wasn't great. It's Sissoko that's able to knock it away, and then Davida wins the throw off Sancho by just toe poking it into the former England winger, out for a throw that Maccabi will take inside their own half. Domestically, their form has been pretty good. 6 wins, 2 draws from their 8 league games so far. They're a point off the top of the Israeli league. They've won the last 2 titles, the first of them under Robbie Keane, who's their manager in the 23-24 season, before he moved to Hungary, where he's also had success with Ferencváros, who are going to be taking on Nottingham Forest, I think, in the last of the group games in the Europa League. Forest potentially with a little bit to do going into that. They've got 5 points from their 4 games after their 0-0 draw away to Sturm Graz today. Asante. He's done well to get away from Sancho. He did so a little bit more easily than might have been anticipated. Poor ball, though, in behind Peretz. Lindelof shuffled across from right back, was able to win it back. Anana did well. Bakada just showed a little bit too much of that to Helio Varela. And here they will be able to come again, Maccabi, with Peretz. Stronger this time, and then just walked away, having felt the contact from Pau Torres, and the referee from Austria has given the free kick his way.
Yeah, Pau Torres really close to Peretz, doesn't want to allow him to turn. I think probably more than any other player, he's been identified by Villa as one to not let him get his head up and start picking passes.
And get it forward here with the substitute centre-half, Heitor. Out to the left, chipped over the top. Out comes Martinez, just got there in time with his head. Couple of yards outside the penalty area. Madmon chasing after it, did little to get out of the way, nor should he, you could argue. But he just led into Martinez, made a back for him, and the free kick goes Villa's way. Good goalkeeping, good starting position from Martinez with a ball that was cleverly dropped over the top of Konsa.
Certainly was. It just skipped away from Madmon a little bit. But you're right, Jim. Emi Martinez was sort of on the edge of the box as that ball was played. But Villa need to up it. And you can see the atmosphere in here is as quiet, again, because of the attendance and the numbers, but it's as quiet as I've known it for some time. So now, as players, you have to try and pick that up. You've got to start doing something to raise the levels in here and get everyone right behind you.
You're listening to Villa against Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Revivo has gone down under a challenge from Guesson. And it's a free kick which will be taken on the Maccabi left-hand side. The only goal in the Europa League in the 8 o'clock kickoffs at Ibrox, where Roma lead by a goal to nil as they look for a 6 away win in 7. Lyon and Sporting Braga have both got 100% records in this competition. They're still 0-0 in their respective games tonight. And in the Conference League, Palace have missed a penalty live over on Talksport 2 at home to RZ. The Irish side, Shelbourne, in action as well. They're down to 10 men in their game at home to Kosovan opposition in the form of Drita. Norris has been sent off. Former Liverpool man is Marlon, makes his way forward, and his shot took a deflection off the retreating Shlomo. It wrong-footed the goalkeeper and went just the wrong side of the post as far as Villa were concerned.
Yeah, that's
for a corner.
That's a really good run from Jadon Sancho. That's better. Picked the ball up, travelled 10, 15 yards of space in front of him. Clever little bit of skill. Finds Daniel Marlon in the box. That deflected shot, which would have given the goalkeeper something to consider, deflected away for a corner.
19 gone, 0-0. Sancho to take the corner. It's the first of the night. It's on the Aston Villa left. He's worked it short for Morgan Rogers. Rogers back for Maatsen. Maatsen to Sancho. First time ball swung in from him. Deep towards the far post where Lindelof's claiming that he was being pulled back. Then had an air shot added. He was off balance. Missed the ball completely. And a goal kick to Maccabi is the verdict.
Do you know, just see that set play there. Obviously that's one that Austin McPhee would design very much for this team. I was at the Villa training ground in the week and he snapped his patella tendon whilst training with the Portuguese national team. So you won't see him standing out in the technical area now, but if you see some crutches being waved about, then that'll be him, Jim, down there.
A very recognisable figure, Austin McPhee, with or without crutches. Here's Maatsen. He's got the ball inside his own half. Let's go back to Selhurst Park. Some significant news there from Ian Abrahams.
Palace 0, RZ 0. We've had the ball in the back of the net. Maxime Lacroix with a brilliant effort through the legs of a defender past the goalkeeper, who, by the way, has already made a penalty save and a world-class save on top of that. Now, it looked offside, cut and dry. Sarr looked offside, Mateta looked offside, but we're currently during a VAR check. He's given the goal! I do not believe it. He's given the goal. It must have come off a defender because it looked for all the world like 2 or 3 were offside. It's live on Talksport 2. I'm just going to wash my eyes out. Palace 1, RZ 0.
Maxence Lacroix with the goal. And Palace, who've seen a penalty save, now lead by a goal to nil at Selhurst Park. And it is live for you right now over on Talksport 2. That would take them up to 6 points from their 3 games if they can hang on to the lead there. We've got more live action for you tomorrow night over on Talksport 2 as Watford take on Bristol City. Ian Maatsen coming forward here for the Villa. Finding Sancho, who's on the edge of the penalty area. Back from him to Onana. And Onana to Pau Torres. There was a challenge which came on in the penalty area whilst we were hearing from Moose with Konsa sliding in. And can't have been judged to have played the ball because a goal kick was given as he tried to get there and win it from Madmon. Yeah.
Actually, they've had 1 or 2 situations, to be honest with you, Maccabi, with little clip balls put between full-back and centre-half, and Madmon has very nearly got on the end of 1 or 2, and you're right, Jim, that was a pretty last-ditch challenge there on the edge of Villa's 18-yard box.
I guess I will make his way forward here, but can't beat the defender Revivo, who just stands in the way. Goes out of play for a goal kick. I told you, Watford Bristol City tomorrow on Talksport 2. Our live Premier League action returns with a great game Saturday lunchtime. Spurs Manchester United is exclusive to Talksport. Build up at 11 on game day exclusive with Reshman Chowdhury. And then Stuart Pearce alongside Sam Matterface for the game. Spurs Manchester United 12:30 Saturday lunchtime. Chelsea Wolves at 8 o'clock Saturday night, also live and exclusive to Talksport. Wolves talking, we understand, to Rob Edwards, and be interesting to see what the situation is, whether anything is done before that game. But it is Saturday night, Chelsea against Wolves, and then game day live on Sunday. We'll keep you up to date with everything else that is going on, including Villa against Bournemouth. And then we're back in international action next Thursday night, this time next week, here on Talksport. England already qualified for the World Cup at home to Serbia before they go to Albania in 10 days time. We've got both of those England games for you live on Talksport as well, as Maccabi bring the ball forward. They can't find a way past the retreating Bakada, who's done well to mop up on the right hand side of his own penalty area, and then he sent the ball back towards Anana, who's standing on the edge of the D, gave it away. Now Sancho's lost it. And Davida inside the penalty area tries a shot which takes a deflection, and that's spanned narrowly wide.
Wow.
Very nearly 1-0 to Maccabi.
Yeah.
And Villa are architects of their own downfall.
I think it should be 1-0. I think that's a great situation, that, for the visiting team. So careless, Villa a couple of times there. The ball from Bakada is a poor decision. He's in his own 18-yard box, almost he's closer to the touchline in his box than he is anywhere else. And he tries to find a teammate close to the penalty spot. That is very risky. And then Jadon Sancho loses it not once but twice. And they just about get away with that, Villa, but a corner coming in.
Elio Varela's going to take it over on the Maccabi left in front of the hold end. He's worked it short. Davida unmarked on the edge of the penalty area, but they can't get the ball into him, and Bakada has atoned for his own previous error. He did really well there dealing with Mammon. The ball goes out of play for a goal kick. Villa yet to really get going. There's no fluency about him, Andy.
Not at all. Not yet. No. I mean, possession stats and all of that, yes, they'll have had the lion's share of it, but without really working their goalkeeper and without really getting Daniel Marlon and Morgan Rogers involved in our first 5 minutes, I thought it looked quite promising. But it's gone a little flat and a little sterile. And again, what I would like to see someone do is take their man on, their immediate number on. Guesson will have a go on the far side, but yet without any success in doing so. But others have got to try and go past their opposite number to then start to stretch this Maccabi team around.
Now, the tail of the tape at the moment, possession 60-40 to Villa. But in terms of shots, it's 3-1 to Maccabi, and they've had the only shot on target so far. So for 60% possession through the opening 25 minutes, Villa have had that one off-target deflected shot. That's been it. They work the ball forward now, but it's headed away by Revivo, away from Morgan Rogers, through to the goalkeeper Roy Mishpati, who's only kept 5 clean sheets in his 16 games in League and Cup so far this season. They had to get through a couple of rounds to even qualify for the league stages. They beat Maltese opposition in the form of Hammer and Spartans, and then a more creditable aggregate victory against Dynamo Kiev that got them through, but just the 1 point in their 3 games so far, which came with a draw away to PAOK Salonika. Lost home fixtures against both Dinamo Zagreb and Midtjylland, and they've got some horrible games to come, including a match next up against Lyon, who, as I mentioned earlier, have won their first 3 games. So very, very difficult, you would imagine, for the Israeli side to make it into a top 24 position. Starting the night 32nd. But they've given Villa a little bit to think about here. They're certainly not rolled over for it.
No, they haven't. No. Again, I mentioned about having to generate your own atmosphere this sort of night. It's always going to be one of those for Villa here. But they were going to have to be asked to pick up the running, make this game happen and get everyone behind them. It's been a little too slow and a little bit predictable up to now, but hopefully things will improve just as we approach the half-hour mark.
Victor Lindelof has possession. Plays the ball through the midfield towards Bakada. Madmon retreating from the number 9 position, just comes back, sticks a foot in, wins it back, and Sissoko can turn it forward. Peretz now will turn and will glide forward very elegantly in possession. Lays it out towards Elio Varela, whose first touch back inside just showed a little bit too much of that to Lindelof, who was invited into the challenge and didn't make it cleanly, so he's given a free kick away about 20 yards outside the Villa penalty area.
Yeah, they have a chance from this situation to fire something in towards the penalty spot. Victor Lindelof just a little eager there to make that challenge. Elio Varela had stepped in field, just show him into traffic, show him into trouble, make him make a better decision. As it is, Lindelof just dangles a foot, down he goes, and they get the free kick.
The goals beginning to be scored elsewhere in the Europa League tonight. Betis lead Lyon by a goal to nil, so that 100% record in doubt. Braga 1, Genk 0, Ferencvaros leading Ludogorets 1-0. In comes the free kick, very deep towards the far post. Emi Martinez can catch it. Not going to be able to force too many of those set-piece positions, you wouldn't think, tonight. Maccabi, and the coach will be really frustrated, Žarko Lazetic, that they wasted that one like that. Rodgers gliding forward, Van de Ven-like, making his way past challenges. Yeah. And then a free kick is given. There's going to be a yellow card shown to the Maccabi player who's gone down hurt, which is Noy. And then a reaction off the ball, and another Maccabi player has gone down, Shlomo, the centre-half, who's down. There was an angry reaction for the challenge on Rodgers, and then Ezri Konsa has found himself involved, and they got two down there.
Yeah, well, certainly Noy, who's still on the floor, now gets up. I mean, it was a ridiculous challenge. Morgan Rodgers in full flow there, picked the ball up 15 yards short of the halfway line, and very quickly eliminated about 5 yellow shirts with a burst over about 50 yards. But Noy just body checks him, just bundles into him, hits the floor. And I'm afraid he's now on a yellow card, but he can't have any complaints at all about that challenge. He was no attempt to play the ball whatsoever.
Just come back to that in a moment. With reference to the Van der Ven goal the other night. Maatsen's going to take this free kick. It's left-footed, it's clipped, it's too deep for Ezri Konsa and just straight out of play. That Mickey Van der Ven goal on Tuesday, Andy, was one of the best I've ever seen. It was just tremendous. But everyone I speak to about it said, if you're the fourth of the 5 players that he's run past, why didn't you just kick him up in the air to stop him doing it?
Yeah, but you've got to get near him first. I mean, he's so quick and so powerful. And again, so exciting that when you get players. Morgan Rodgers just did it. You're absolutely right, Jim. Did exactly the same sort of thing. Picked the ball up and then immediately went through the gears and just glides past people. And that Van der Ven was special. That goal really, really was.
Yeah, it'll be a long time before see one as good as that. Konsa to Bakada. He's got the ball in the midfield and lays it back inside the centre circle for Pau Torres. A square to his right-hand side for Ezri Konsa. Villa coming forward again. They got possession back because the Israelis were desperate to play out from the back, and Villa's press forced an error. Bakada now has won it back. The referee put whistle to mouth and then didn't blow it. Play goes on. Ezri Konsa's got possession. Pau Torres has got Sancho in space. Holes right down the back of his socks. They're just waiting for the ball to be played to him, but has to drift infield because Pau Torres neglected to play the pass. Now Sancho will come in field and try and get a run on the fullback Asante. Now just drops out into space again, and this time Torres will find him. So Sancho's got it. Running at the winger Davida. Tried a little reverse ball for Maatsen's run. Maybe hit Davida's hand. That was the shout from isolated Villa fans around us. Davida then has defended it well, flicked it off Maatsen and won his side a throw. Let's go back to Ibrox. Rangers taking on Roma and trailing the last time we heard from Talksport's David Tanner.
36 minutes gone, Jim. It's still Rangers 0, Roma 1. Matthias Sule's header on 30 minutes separating the side. He could have had a second, but effort was palmed away by Jack Butland, and Yusuf Chermiti had a terrific chance for Rangers, but as he has so often done, fluffed his lines in front of goal. Rangers 0, Roma 1.
Villa bringing the ball forward again, standing one up to the edge of the penalty area. Rodgers attacked it, but it was easily knocked past him. Revivo's had a decent start of the game, the left back for Maccabi Tel Aviv. He's dealt with the threat and has the ball at his feet now, but Gesson's been fouled. Free kick that Villa are looking to take on halfway. Referee's not let much go,
no,
I think it's fair to say tonight, the Austrian official.
Yep. Anyone who tumbles to the floor usually gets the benefit of the doubt, doesn't he? Again, Jadon Sancho, we just saw him pick the ball up, and he's done a couple of nice things actually in the last 10 minutes, a couple of decent runs. Ian Maatsen will always look to offer himself running round him. Every now and again he should say to Maatsen, you stay behind me. Give me the option of going down the outside as well as stepping infield.
Anana sending the ball wide. Gesson controlled it with his chest and was forced to take a step back under pressure from Revivo. Invited the contact, wins the free kick. Villa taking it quickly. Pau Torres will bring it forward, lays it back for Ezri Konsa. Konsa spinning one down for Matsson's excellent run. He can control it beautifully, flicks it back for Sancho, edge of the penalty area, stands it up deep. Gesson coming in round the back, volleys it back in. Can't find Marlon, who was offside anyway. Goal at Ibrox. David Tanner.
36 minutes gone, and it's Rangers 0, Roma 2. And this time it's Lorenzo Pellegrini who gets the goal. There is a VAR check at the moment, but as it stands, it's 2-0 to Roma at Ibrox.
Roma leading their 2-0 subject to that VAR check. Celtic beaten earlier. Aberdeen drew 0-0 at AEK Larnaca. Palace leading RZ by a goal to nil live right now over on Talksport 2. Forest drew at Sturm Graz. Shamrock Rovers drew at AEK Athens. Shelbourne being held by Kosovan side Dritta, but the Shelb's down to 10 men as well. Ezri Konsa controlling the ball, playing it for. That goal stands at Ibrox, and 2-0 the score. Pellegrini's the man that scored that second goal. Here it's 0-0 with 11 to go to half-time. About 4 or 5 minutes behind the other 8 o'clock kickoffs here. Ball worked forward out to Anana. Anana controlling it, and then under pressure from Madmont pirouetting on the edge of the penalty area. Konsa back for Anana again. Still the pressure being applied. Peretz this time forcing Anana to go long. Maatsen chases after it, and in the end Asante has been forced to just kick it out of play for a throw that Maatsen takes quickly thanks to Unai Emery acting as ball boy. Infield towards Morgan Rogers. Oh, Rogers, he's got through and tries to walk it into the net, but didn't, in nudging it past the goalkeeper, really get too much purchase on it, and Shlomo clears it on the line. Back it comes again, Rogers for Maatsen. That's cleared. Sancho takes over left-hand side of the area. Rogers once more, right-footed, and just over the bar with a dipping effort. Much better from the Villa, but it stays 0-0.
When they pick the tempo up, when they play at top speeds, then Villa look a different proposition completely. It was a really good run a few moments ago from Morgan Rogers. Got himself into the 18-yard box at full speed. People dare not touch him. He just couldn't get the ball out almost from under his feet to hit it with any real strength to get it past Mishpati in goal. And then the ball come back to him. A really good strike from, he was probably about 10, 12 yards out. It was always dipping, but just didn't come down in time.
You're listening to Villa against Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Another cross comes in from Sancho. Maatsen across the edge of the 6-yard box. Marlon from a tight angle, and he can't fire it in. Goalkeeper recovering, gratefully throws himself on the loose ball to make the save, but it's coming now.
Yeah, that's better again. Ian Maatsen it was, who ended up in a good position high up the field. He tries to cut that one back to Morgan Rogers. It eventually drops for Daniel Marlon. He just couldn't quite fire that one from a very tight angle past the goalie, but been better.
Well, the guard has lost out, and Peretz can lead the counter-attack, but it was easy for Maatsen just to flick it out of his path. Now Pau Torres goes back for Konsa. Maatsen makes his way down the left. Anana has it again. Villa send out some substitutes, including Yuri Tielemans, who gets a big reception. He's not played for 7 weeks because of the calf injury that he picked up early season. Good to see him back, and I'm sure he'll get some minutes tonight. Villa now get a free kick for a Sissoko challenge in the midfield, and he too will be yellow carded. So both of the central midfielders for Maccabi Tel Aviv have now been booked.
Yep, and that's going to be a problem for Zarko Lazatic, the Maccabi coach. That's something he might have to have a think about sooner rather than later. Again, as soon as a Villa player just puts his foot down, as Bakada did there, and goes past the yellow shirt, they're just dragging him down, immediately dropping the Villa players to the floor. Happy to take the card, but can only do it once.
Yeah, they haven't got anybody who will be suspended for the next game if they're booked tonight. Sissoko caution, a player who has got experience of playing in the French top flight with Bordeaux before their financial troubles really kicked in. So he's in the book, so too Noy. They've lost the centre-half to injury, but they're hanging in there at 0-0 for all the fact that Villa have been much better in the last 5 minutes. This free kick works short, then rolled down the right-hand side of the area. Sancho gets to the byline, turns it back in, and it's headed away by Shlomo to relative safety. Another well-worked set piece out of the Austin McPhee repertoire. Now Rodgers from distance, and the goalkeeper did well because he had to hastily move across his line, then deal with a spiteful bounce, but he grasped the ball in, falls to his knees to make the save.
It was a good set play, that. Two players run over the ball. Eventually it's played down the line, down the side of the wall to Jadon Sancho, gets right to the byline. Good cross, really good cross, just couldn't get a claret and blue shirt on the end of it. Nope. Sorry, Jim, there's been more shots for the goalkeeper to handle in the last 5 minutes than in the previous half an hour.
Yeah, definitely. They've been much better. There is Sissoko, laying it back for Noy in the heart of the midfield for Maccabi. What is definitely a game being played in a muted atmosphere tonight. And you look around, aside from the away end, in inverted commas, because it isn't an end here. Anyone that knows Villa Park will be able to visualise the left-hand side of the Doug Ellis stand. As the ball is played in, and Martinez can gratefully pounce on it after Revivo's cross. Couldn't find his man Peretz, who was waiting.
What a chance that is. I mean, Revivo's got himself into such a good area. A little 1-2. I think Peretz would have been offside, Jim, actually, had this one have gone in, but Revivo rolls it along the 6-yard box, and Emi Martinez just prevents Peretz from rolling it into an unguarded net. I think he would have been offside. The flag would have gone up.
So 3,000 empty seats in that away part of the ground, but loads of light blue seats visible in most areas of the ground, certainly on the lower tier of the Holt and the rest of the Doug Ellis stand on the far side from us. In this main stand as well. I would imagine the crowd does begin with a 3 rather than a 2, but it's been subdued. Forward they come again, Maccabi, and now the offside flag comes up against Elio Varela, and a free kick to Villa about 5 yards outside their own penalty area. And Žarko Lazatic, who's never one to make you wondering what he's thinking, the Maccabi coach, turns round and bellows at the bench. You can hear him from here, and he's arching his back, leaning back, and he's really angry. He knows that they've had half-decent chances here to get themselves ahead.
Nothing worse than for a player when you look across and you see your coach going mad, flapping his arms, jumping up and down. You're always out there thinking, what's up with him? What's he going mad for? You know, this team, look, have been competitive. They've actually had 1 or 2 nice situations attacking-wise themselves. What you want to see is sometimes just a coach just looking at you, little clap of the hands, nod of the head, just to reassure you.
A few giving him the rubber ear, I think, at the moment. Is Sancho. Couldn't squeeze the first one through. Can find Rodgers at the second time of asking. Now for Sancho again, taking it on. Oh, brilliant. I'm sure he's overrun that yet.
Lucky.
The flag comes up over on the far side. Flicked it with his right foot onto his left, but it had just rolled over the dead ball line before he could pull it back.
And there, Jadon Sancho, a good example of him going on the outside. Too often, again, sometimes because others are running beyond him, too often when he gets the ball, he's instantly stepping infield and you're walking into trouble there in traffic. Nice there for Jadon Sancho. They had the option to go inside, but he chose to go around the outside. Really unlucky. Good footwork.
4 minutes to go in this first half. There could easily be another 4 added on by way of stoppages. It's still 0-0 between Villa and Maccabi Tel Aviv. You're with Talksport over on Talksport 2. Palace leading RZ 1-0. They're just about to go into first half stoppage time there. They've also missed a penalty through Matete's Lacroix that's got the goal. Lindelof into the feet of Rodgers. Oh, clever from Rodgers. Took it with his right foot, then back-heeled the ball with his left. Back towards the moving Lindelof. Anana takes over. Gesson coming round the back. Tried to volley it in towards Marlon. And didn't get it right. It's gone out of play for a goal kick. He has suffered from a chronic lack of service tonight, Daniel Marlon.
Oh, yes. Look, he's hardly had anything really faced across the box that he can attack. In the first couple of minutes, actually, he and Morgan Rodgers teamed up quite nicely together, and I think he was close with one particular shot. But he's sharp, and I think actually he'll benefit a bit more second half when the game becomes a little bit more stretched, which it always does 10-15 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, Marlon with a rare opportunity. He's only started 5 games before tonight this season. He's actually only scored in one of his last 20 games. He did net a couple in that match against Burnley. Konsa trying to play it forward for Rodgers, who's been given loads of freedom again tonight. And then Shlomo will come away with the ball, find Hayter, and Hayter finds row J of this main stand with a woefully overhit pass. It's an easy game to play from here. And Pau Torres can, from the quickly taken throw, bring it forward towards halfway. 1-1 between Braga and Genk, the Belgian side equalising in northern Portugal. 0-0 here in the second city, with Bacada laying it back out towards Gesson on the right. Bacada again. Cleverly knocking the ball away from Perez. There was very clever ball retention, a little drop of the shoulder that did so much for him. It slows down again. Anana to Rodgers. Rodgers trying to inject a little bit of tempo round the edge of the box. A little 1-2 with Maatsen. Now Sancho, who fell over the ball but might still be able to get back to his feet in possession. The referee's given a free kick against him for obstructing the play. He was down on the ground but stopping the ball being played. So a free kick for obstruction's gone against him. We've got 90 seconds to go to half time. Probably 5 minutes of playing time left in this first half, and still waiting for the breakthrough.
Yeah, the game hasn't really got going, has it? I mean, all the onus is on Aston Villa. Maccabi once or twice have countered and have broke quite nicely, and actually had one or two nice situations themselves. Villa have had the lion's share of it, of course, possession-wise. I'm sure their numbers are pretty high, but I think there needs to be just a little bit more intensity, a bit more speed about the way they play. I've just seen Amadou Onana a couple of times from that midfield position with the ball, stopping it, having a look around before he makes a decision. I think it's one of those where you need to speed things up a little bit. I think it's all well and good if you're playing Bayern Munich here in a Champions League game and you're stopping and you're starting and you're resetting. When you're playing a team like this, you've got to kind of keep your foot to the floor a bit more, and I think Villa need to up it.
Yeah, perhaps guilty of having a lack of instinct at times tonight, Villa. But, you know, they made 5 changes. I suppose that comes with the territory to an extent.
Yes, it does.
Those stats you were talking about, possession at 63-37.
See, again there, Pau Torres is looking at Jadon Sancho. Give him the ball. Roll it to him.
In the end, he went into the feet of Rodgers, who was quickly closed down. Maccabi get it back and try and get it forward towards Mabmon, but Konsa's there to win it back. Only 3 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Villa have now had more shots on target, 3-2, than their opposition. Morgan Rodgers bringing the ball forward, slips it off to his left-hand side for Jadon Sancho. Sancho back for Rodgers inside the penalty area. Maatsen! Oh! Yes. How did he squeeze that in? That's a brilliant finish from Ian Maatsen. Almost inconceivable. He was right on the dead ball line, but he hooked his left foot around it and bent it in off the far post to give Villa a stoppage time lead.
I tell you what, that's a great finish from a ridiculously tight angle. I mean, he was well within his rights there to just try and cut that back. I'm not sure anyone was available, but Ian Maatsen kept going. The ball from Morgan Rodgers actually to him was a little toe poker as he ran beyond everybody. The ball initially with Jadon Sancho in a wide position. He came back. Maatsen makes the run beyond Rodgers. And I tell you what, knocks it in at the near post. He's only about 4 yards from the near post, but he is right on the dead ball line. And he roofs it. He knocks that one on the half volley above the goalie's head, right into the top of the goal. Incredible finish.
Yeah, that is a fine strike. Goal for Villa in first half stoppage time. And a goal for Palace in first half stoppage time as well. Ian Abrahams.
Palace 2, RZ 0, with the little caveat we're having a VAR check. It's been put in the back of the net by Ismail Assar, but this could take a while, Jim. Palace 2, RZ 0. Live on Talksport 2, back with you soon.
Well, it could be Sar's 7th of the season there. Here's Onana in towards Marlon, and dug clear by Shlomo. Goes out of play for a throw that Villa looking to take quickly with... a minute and a half of first half stoppage time still to go. Sancho takes the throw, and then Onana is given a proper whack on the back of the head by Asante to give Villa a free kick 4 yards in from the left-hand touchline, and level with the edge of the box. Good chance this.
And they give Villa a chance, Jadon Sancho now, to whip something in to a dangerous area. Asante there has got Onana facing back to play, clatters into him unnecessary, concedes this free kick, which probably be one of the last passages of play during this first period. Can they produce something here?
So just one man in the wall, which is Davida. He's inside the penalty area, trying to protect the near post. Not sure Sancho will go for that. 7 in claret and blue, in and around the edge of the penalty area. Sancho raises his right arm above his head, swings it in really deep. Goalkeeper comes out, not the best, and Konsa, as it just dropped to him on the turn, 8 yards out, can't keep it down.
Yeah, not an easy chance for Esri Konsa there. Decent ball in from Sancho, goalkeeper flapping absolutely nowhere. And it actually dropped down on the corner of the 6-yard box. Esri Konsa couldn't quite turn that one in.
Well, it took a bit of time to get going. Half an hour where neither side were able to make too much of an impression, and Maccabi actually were creating the better half chances. Villa slowly warmed to their task. The goal from Madsen, well worth the wait in first half stoppage time, squeezing it in from the tightest of angles, and Villa lead Maccabi 1-0 at half time.
Jim, thank you very much. We'll assess the first half in just a moment, but let's check in with the other games taking place this evening. It is now half-time at Selhurst Park. So how did that first half finish up between Crystal Palace and AZ Alkmaar in the Conference League? Ian Abrahams?
Very nicely, thank you. Palace 2, RZ 0. Palace had already hit the post, they'd already hit the bar, they'd already had a penalty save. By the time they decided it was time to actually score a goal, the Kwa got it with a shot through the legs of the defender. I've got to say that Gehi and a couple of other Palace players did look offside, and we had a very, very long VAR check before in the end the goal was given. Palace continued to push forward and eventually got their second goal right on half-time. It was start with a free kick that wasn't cleared. Eventually a little flick on header by Lacroix for Ismail Assar close in on goal to poke the ball home. Cue another very long VAR check, which was completely unnecessary, but at least it meant at half-time we reached the right outcome, which is Palace 2, RZ 0. The second half, football and VAR checks will be on Talksport 2.
Ian, thank you very much. And, well, it's been a sorry state of affairs for Rangers in Europe this season. Don't think it's got much better. David Tanner.
Curiously, it's probably their best performance, Natalie. It's Rangers 0, Roma 2 at the break. And the team currently 1 point off the lead in Serie A, are ahead after a first half of few chances. Rangers conceded from a corner kick just as they did against Celtic on Sunday. Mateus Sula scoring with a header. A couple of minutes later, Liverpool loanee Kostas Tsimikas smashed a clearance off a Roma teammate, and Rangers' Yusuf Chermidi found himself with a scoring opportunity. He aimed it across the face of the goal, and just like in the Old Firm game, he should have scored. The second goal was scored by Lorenzo Pellegrini. The Italy international buried the ball in the bottom corner from the edge of the box. Rangers 0, Roma 2.
David, thank you very much, and don't forget we'll keep you updated on all those games throughout. And just to run you up to speed with what else is happening in the Conference League, Irish side Shelbourne are currently goalless against the Kosovan side Drita, although Shelbourne did have a player sent off, Norris sent off in the 17th minute, but they've been able to hold firm despite being a man down. And in League One, Reading even leads Stevenage by a goal to nil. A certain Charlie Savage getting an early goal in that one. Let's review what happened here then at Villa Park in this first 45 minutes. And you were actually telling us, and you broke the news about Austin McPhee, and we've just seen him
there hobbling along the touchline.
So much pain as he's hobbling.
Dear. Yeah. Well, I tell you, that is a nasty injury. I think it's a 6-month recovery that for a snapped patella tendon, and that is not very pleasant. And I'm just watching him go along the touchline. I'm thinking by the time he gets there, he'll be coming out for the second half.
So true. And if you're not quite sure about what the patella tendon, I'm doing my little research here.
Yeah.
It's the tendon that connects between the kneecap to the shin bone.
It is. It's a nasty one, but yes. He was in good spirits when I spoke to him, and of course he has a key role to play here because their set pieces, Villa, are often very useful. Yeah,
you said it was obviously a nightmare for him, and this first half could have ended as a nightmare for Villa because it was they kind of just didn't get going.
Correct. First 5 minutes, Natalie, I thought, they've started quite well. I spoke about the need for on this sort of night, the stadium not full. A crowd that think you're going to turn up and just do it and win, so you need a good start. They got a reasonable start, but then it went flat, and it went flat for about 20-25 minutes. They actually Maccabi had 1 or 2 situations that had they have utilised it a bit better, could have even got in front. But towards about the half-hour mark, just beyond, then all of a sudden Villa just started to up it. Then all of a sudden had that 5, 6, 7 minutes where they looked like something was going to happen. And the goal was good play, but a brilliant finish from an almost impossible angle.
Exactly that. It's one of those finishes that actually you think that's gone over. That's not gone in.
Correct.
How it went in, I don't know still.
Well, he's running. So if you imagine, the ball was bouncing about a yard from where the 6-yard line hits the byline. And it was literally about there. And Ian Matson is running full pelt to just try and keep it in, really. Goalkeeper standing at the near post. And he fizzes it across and it hits the underside of the bar and goes into the side netting on the far side to give Villa an important lead, because it's, as we said, it's that sort of night that you're thinking, you look around some nights as players on the field and you're like, come on, one of us needs to get this going a little bit. Someone needs to make something happen and kick us all into gear a bit.
But why do you think that is? Is it because, I mean, Jim was telling us about the numerous changes that Unai Emery has made in the Europa League. Is it because they're not a consistent side playing together?
Yeah, I think that's a factor. But sometimes when you have players coming in that should be wanting to do that little more. I think as the game went on, Jadon Sancho became more involved, got better as the half progressed. But a little slow sometimes from the central defenders. I mentioned Onana I think, occasionally slows things down a little too much. I mentioned it's not Juventus, Bayern Munich or the like. This is a team that I think struggle when the tempo rises and when the speed goes back into Villa's game. So keep it there for a little longer. They've got such riches to choose from on the bench, so no one has to worry about being knackered with 20 minutes to go. Unai Emery has a bench to dream of to change it if he has to.
But as you were saying, I mean, I think it took until about half an hour or so for them to truly test the keeper, which I'm sure Unai Emery were a little bit disappointed about. There were some chances also for the visitors, we should say. They did cause a few problems as well. And when they break really well.
Yeah, they did. They did. Peretz, as Jim mentioned in commentary, is a very tidy player. He's useful. The lad up front, Madmon, hasn't had the greatest service, but when they get in those wide areas and they're looking to cut the ball back, they look quite dangerous. They've had situations, Natalie, rather than, I would say, outstanding chances. But once or twice they've got in behind Villa and could have exposed them a little more.
Well, it's 1-0 that Aston Villa lead then here at Villa Park. You are tuning in to Europa League Live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Coming up next, we'll bring you all the details from Sturm Graz versus Nottingham Forest, which took place earlier.
Europa League Live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
At Amazon, over 50% of deliveries now come with less packaging or with no added packaging at all. It's a difference you'll notice on your doorstep, where you chat with friends, where your neighbour's daughter practices guitar, and where we deliver your new noise-cancelling headphones in the manufacturer's packaging. Ah, much better. Reduced packaging from Amazon. We're delivering change where it matters, on your doorstep, based on 2024 UK and EU Amazon packaging data.
On November the 15th, British boxing's biggest blood feud continues as Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn go toe-to-toe once again. And TalkSport is giving you the chance to score a pair of tickets to see the fight live, including a stay in a 5-star London hotel and $5,000 in cash. Enter now at talksport.com/win and get set for a sporting spectacle you'll never forget. Talksport.com/win. This is a TalkSport limited promotion. See talksport.com for terms and conditions.
The 8th of November, Tottenham United red hot. This Saturday, get ready to say ooh and ah as TalkSport Bet lights the fuse on another spectacular Saturday Super Boost that's hot, hot, hot. Spurs versus Manchester United, both teams to score. Current price 1-2, super boosted price evens. TalkSport Bet, Bottle Rocket Broadcaster, bring it on bookie. Offer available from 5 p.m. this Friday night. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
That's not simple. That's not simple. Now that's simple.
Hastings Direct car insurance is simple, because when life is this complicated, finding a great deal shouldn't be. Great cover, great price, and a great app makes us one of the UK's top choices when comparing car insurance online. Hastings Direct. Simplicity is the best policy. For verification, see hastingsdirect.com/verify.
There you were, prepping for the perfect date night at home. Love songs cued, cushions fluffed. There was just one thing missing. The food. But look at you now. With Deliveroo, you brought date night home in as little as 25 minutes. Their favourite pasta from the local Italian, nailed it. Or the perfect wine from your favourite supermarket, order it in. Deliveroo, now just got even better. Subject to availability, delivery times vary. See in-app geographical restrictions, service and delivery fees and terms apply. 18 plus, drink responsibly.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Hawksby and Jacobs on your side every weekday afternoon from 1 on Talksport with Toolstation, delivering cutting-edge comment, a catalogue of riveting guests, and drilled-down dialogue to power up your lunchtime. Plus, breaking news, views, and loads of laughs. Don't miss the nation's favourite sporting lunch with the legendary Hawksby and Jacobs every weekday afternoon from 1 on Talksport with Toolstation. Next stop, Toolstation.
Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
More fun than paying your gas bill. Kick off live on Talksport.
This is Europa League Live on TalkSport, where Aston Villa lead Maccabi Tel Aviv by 1-0 at half-time. Second half commentary to come here then at Villa Park. In a game where there are no away fans, over 700 police personnel on duty as well. That amidst some demonstrations that have been taking place outside of the ground. Our reporter Nick Ellaby is outside, so let's check in him with what's going on. And Nick, what's the latest you can bring us?
Good evening, Natalie. As we understand, there have been at least 6 arrests. One for a man failing to comply with an order to remove a face mask, a boy for failing to comply with a dispersal order, 3 arrests for racially aggravated public order offences, and 1 for a breach of the peace. We only saw kind of one major scuffle here between the police and the protesters, and also some of the Villa fans and the protesters were kind of giving it to each other a little bit just before kick-off. But apart from that, no serious incident to report. The pro-Israel demonstration on the other side of the ground was very peaceful. They were marched here from the station and back again. And also we've had that update from the West Midlands Police that their decision to ban Maccabi fans was because of a small subsection of hooligans in the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, and that's why they decided, West Midlands Police, not to allow Maccabi fans here today. So just 6 arrests to report, and at the moment the protesters are being told to go home.
Nick, thank you very much for that update. OK, back to footballing matters then, where Aston Villa lead Maccabi Tel Aviv 1-0 at half-time. Let's bring you a check on the latest odds then with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
The latest half-time odds then sees Aston Villa as the overwhelming favourites to come away with all 3 points. They're now odds on at 14-1. Maccabi Tel Aviv, if you think they can turn it around, 33-1 you can get on that chance. And the draw is a best price is 17-2. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 and over. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
OK, let's check in with the game that we brought you earlier live on Talksport 2, where Sturm Graz and Nottingham Forest played out a goalless draw in the Europa League, although Morgan Gibbs-White had a penalty saved as well. After the game, Sean Dyche told TNT Sports that he was disappointed not to come away with all 3 points.
I think particularly first half dominant, not just with the ball, but dominant in the chances created and the quality of chances, other than the penalty, which is an obvious great chance, golden chance, but the other chance we had, from set pieces, but some of the open play chances and some of them final moments where we just didn't capitalise on. So more frustrated in the sense of not scoring a goal, because the first half was a very dominant performance, as I said, particularly with the ball, but also creating good chances. Second half we played a little bit, but we've come here with not many options, players who we're having to use games to get them fit because we can't get so much work into them. There were some really good performances. I thought Ibra was excellent in midfield, Yatesy working with him as well. The centre half, Morato comes in and plays well, John comes in and plays well. Some good signs, but you come away frustrated overall.
So that was Sean Dyche with his reaction to that goalless draw. Unbeaten, though, under Sean Dyche in the Europa League, taking 4 points from his first 2 games in charge. Don't forget, you can always get in touch with the Sports Bar later on to have your say in all the footballing matters with Jamie and Jason from 10. 03717, well, that'll be after 10 actually. 03717 223344. We'll keep you updated on what happens at the Selhurst Park with Crystal Palace against AZ Alkmaar. We'll be live on Talksport 2. Well, the players are making their way out here at Villa Park for the second half. Tuning to kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. It's 18 and over, begambleaware.org. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European footballers. Aston Villa make their way now back out onto the pitch at the PA system, once again doing the business. Try and get this Villa crowd going.
It is loud now.
It is loud. I think it's louder than usual.
Do you know, honestly, I think that Champions League games we were doing last year, Jim and I got home and my ears were ringing. I don't know about yours, Jim, for about 3 days.
Sorry, I can't hear you because of the tannoy.
I was going to say, that's not old age, is it?
Well, it could be, actually.
Just checking.
Yeah, bit of tinnitus.
Exactly. Not a laughing matter, I do realise. Right, let's hand you back to your commentary team because the second half is about to get underway. Andy Townsend, the former Villa midfielder, is alongside Jim Proudfoot.
And Aston Villa, as things stand, at 6th in that 36-team table. The two sides that are currently in action with a 100% record, both losing. Sporting Braga at home to Genk and Lyon 2 down away at Real Betis. So Villa with an opportunity to make a little bit of ground, providing they can hold on to the lead that was given to them spectacularly by Ian Matson in first half stoppage time. We are back underway. Villa in claret and blue, not making any changes, and kicking from left to right towards the Holt end in this second half. They got Martinez in goal, Lindelof, Konsa, Torres and Matson, Bakada and Onana, Gesson, Rogers and Sancho, and Marlon. But you would imagine that Unai Emery will already have it in his mind exactly the changes he's going to be making and when he's going to make them, with that Bournemouth game coming up on Sunday in mind. As Onana brings the ball forward over halfway into the feet of Sancho. And Sancho, another who's got better as the game has gone on. Back from him to Bakada. There's space on the Villa right for Victor Lindelof, and he can make his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Little step over from him as he then finds Bakada. Bakada, though, goes backwards and everything slows down a little bit again, to the frustration of the Villa fans, Andy.
Yeah, well, got right up to the edge of the box there, and it was Victor Lindelof actually just cross it, put it in there. Look, I know you don't have a conventional number 9 in Daniel Marlon. He's the sort of guy that likes to run, and perhaps a little bit more space in behind a defensive setup would suit him better. But when you get in crossing positions, put the ball in the box. Make him become a striker. Make him become someone who's looking to get across his man and maybe get his head on something.
Foul there by Concept. The referee has been consistent throughout the course of the night. He's let
fussy,
very little go. He has been. Yeah,
he's been
absolutely.
Fussy. Yeah.
It's Julian Weinberger from Austria who is the man taking charge this evening. The ball laid back for the Maccabi goalkeeper Roy Mishpati, and he sliced it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken by Victor Lindelof on the right-hand touchline. Back from him to Konsa. Lindelof, a runner-up in this competition back in 2021 with Manchester United, who lost to Villarreal that year. Villarreal managed by Unai Emery. That was the most recent of his 4 Europa League triumphs. And what he would give 5 seasons later to make it 5. Villa favourites to do so, remember. Quite warm favourites as well to lift the trophy in May. Konsa's got possession. He's gone back inside his own half here for Remy Martinez, and they're just trying to draw the press so that they can try and play through it here.
That's exactly what they're trying to do. And when you have a lead, when you score first, then you can do that. Again, Amadou Onana, that's better from him. Receives the ball from his midfield compatriot, Bakada, and then immediately drove into a bit of space in front of him.
Ended up being fouled and wins the free kick. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. As Bakada makes his way forward again, and another free kick for Villa. It's been a really stop-start, and we've seen that throughout the course of the night, particularly in the opening 10 minutes of the game, with Maccabi doing what they could, and this is not meant as a criticism, but just to disrupt the flow of it and try and prevent Villa from getting into their stride. They managed the match really well for the opening 30-35 minutes or so, did Žarko Lazetic's men. But Villa with the breakthrough late in the half through Maatsen. They've got a good record from winning positions this season, although in their last European tie they took the lead in the Netherlands against the go-ahead and lost that game. That's the only one that they have lost. I think in all competitions last season they probably only lost 2 when they scored first. So under Emery they've got a really good record of being able to see this kind of situation out. Elsewhere in Europe, Pauk lead the young boys by a goal to nil. Young boys down to 10 men. And a goal down as well. Konsa bringing the ball forward. Live over on Talksport 2 right now. Palace 2 up at home to RZ. And we'll be back at Selhurst Park in a moment. Rangers 2 down at home to Roma at Ibrox. As Onana has possession. He's clipped it right-footed out to the Villa left, where Maatsen just tries to flick it on round the corner first time. Couldn't find Sancho. That first-time touch, not as good as his last first-time touch, which put the ball in the net. It's gone out of play for a throw.
Yep, absolutely right. So far, Villa are just trying to tease the yellow shirts onto them and looking for the moment to try and exploit a bit of space. Ian Maatsen was in a good position moments ago, but poor touch let him down. But Ezri Konsa's just fouled about 40-45 yards out, slightly on the angle. Let's see what Villa can conjure up here.
Emi Buendia set out to warm up, and he's doing so pretty vigorously. That suggests that he's going to be on before too long. Similarly, Matty Cash might also be seeing the light of day in the next few minutes. This free kick, as Andy says, 40 yards out. It's right of centre. It's not in a shooting position. It's just going to be teased in. No, it's not. Sancho just pokes it to his right-hand side. Back for Rodgers. Maatsen! And then put in on the rebound. No. Goalkeeper comes out, makes the save, and Marlon's denied. Well, it was really well worked again. Just toe poke to the right-hand side. Work back for Maatsen. Maatsen in a central position. Fired one in. The goalkeeper got his body behind it. And then Marlon trying to get the seconds. Goalkeeper came out. Looked as though contact was made between the pair of them as Marlon poked it away.
I was just looking at that. I mean, actually, it looks like Daniel Marlon had already knocked the ball wide of the post. But certainly the goalkeeper, having made a save and flapped it, then got back up, threw himself in front of Marlon and clattered into him. He's come off second best, actually, the goalkeeper. He was brave there. But that was close. Good strike from Ian Maatsen from just outside the box. 3 or 4 lads rushing in. Daniel Marlon it was who just got there before the goalie, but couldn't get that effort on target.
You don't see that in too many goalkeeping coaching manuals. Maybe it's Appendix B. Headbutt the opposition striker in the crotch to try and stop a goal being scored.
I don't know, Jim. I think there's a chapter on that somewhere. Sure, I've read it.
I'm sure there is. Let's go to Selhurst Park while we pull ourselves together. Ian Abrahams.
Palace 2, RZ 0. Palace trying to go for the third at the moment, although they thought it should have had a penalty. Ismaila Sarr has been booked for diving. It's live on Talksport 2, this one. Palace 2, RZ 0.
So still 2-0 there. Let's go to Ibrox as well. David Tanner.
58 minutes gone. It's still Rangers 0, Roma 2. We've just had a terrific chance. Nico Raskan with a 25-yarder that whizzed past the post. Rangers 0, Roma 2.
We'll keep you updated. The game in League One still, as it was at half-time. Reading leading Stevenage by a goal to nil, with Liam Richardson's men ahead from the very early stages through a Charlie Savage goal. Remember, Stevenage win that. They go top of League One tonight, still with games in hand on some of the sides around them. You're not missing anything here. We talked about the goalkeeping tactics. In the small print, it says, if you do elect to do that, don't come off second best, which he has done, and he's still down receiving treatment.
He certainly has, yeah. He really was brave. So imagine the goalkeeper, he saves the shot from Maatsen, and it just gets away from him. So he's quickly trying to get there and smother the strike from Daniel Marlon. Clatters into the Villa striker and has absolutely come off second best. Still not back up on his feet. We've seen reruns of the Maatsen goal. Brilliant finish, from that such a tight angle. Really was a good finish, but a bit of concern on the Maccabi bench here about whether the goalie is going to be good enough to continue. We shall see.
Because he is far and away the first choice goalkeeper. They do have an Israeli international, Yoav Jarafi, on the bench. He was injured in late July, so it hasn't seen the light of day for a good 3 or 4 months. And then they've got an Israeli under-21 international, Ofek Malika, who has also seen some minutes of first-team action this season. But listen, Mishpati is almost number 1, number 2 and number 3 in the Maccabi goalkeeping ranks, and they need him to be in a position that he can continue. We've got more live football for you this time tomorrow. Championship action. Watford really good at home. Bristol City just having an injury hit wobble at the moment. The two of them meet at Vicarage Road. It's on Talksport 2 tomorrow night, and then Saturday 2 live Premier League games for you and 2 live Championship games. The Premier League games both on Talksport. Spurs Man United at 12:30, Chelsea against Wolves at 8, and 2 games on Talksport 2 from the EFL. Millwall against Preston at 12:30, and a big one, Stoke against Coventry. The top 2 going head to head. What a good game that will be. Mark Robbins against his old club as well, just if you needed an added ingredient. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Both of those games exclusive on Talksport 2. The Stoke Coventry game not available anywhere on UK TV. Really is a date for your diary. So we're back underway here, and he's okay. The goalkeeper Mishpati able to continue. The ball inside the penalty area. Villa with defending to do, and Peretz with a shot which Martinez has done well. Dives to his right to knock it away. Villa just switched off. Now they're working forward at the other end, and the goalkeeper retreats as Marlon gets to a loose ball, but a low shot is comfortably stopped by Mishpati. Marlon has it again and is shoved to the ground to give Villa a free kick, but a really good chance at either end in the space of 10 seconds.
Certainly was. Brilliant run from Helio Varela, the left winger from Maccabi. He gets into the box, sprints beyond Pau Torres, cuts it back, and Peretz has got all the time in the world, takes a touch. He's about a yard above the penalty spot, middle of the goal, and he hits it well, but Emi Martinez, as he often does, guesses the right way and makes a really important stop. And from there, Villa, a couple of very swift passes, and Daniel Marlon is sprinting into the 18-yard box at the other end of the field to test their goalkeeper. So really good passage of play there.
There's a goal at Selhurst Park. Ian Abrahams.
Palace 2, RZ 1. Troy Parrott, right-hand side, squaring the ball inside the box. Oh, Sarr's in here. Ismail Assar for 3-1! Ismail Assar makes it 3-1. I was going to tell you about Sven Meyer's goal. I won't bother now. It just deflected off Will Hughes, Bjorn Henderson, and then one straight ball for Ismail Assar to get his second. Palace 3, RZ 1. Live on Talksport 2. Goals as they go in here, Jim, on Talksport.
And here at Villa Park, a penalty to Aston Villa. The referee gave himself about 10 seconds to think about it. Ezri Konsa going down inside the penalty area, and the official, who's given everything all night, just had a long, hard look. The challenge inside the penalty area, but only just. Yeah. Madmon put a hand out. It is really soft, Andy. The VAR is going to look at it.
Yeah, he puts a... I don't think this is a penalty. I think Ezri Konsa trips himself in the end. Madmon it is who actually makes contact with Ezri Konsa, but he keeps going and then clips his own heels, hits the floor, goes down. Referee, you're right, pondered, he waited, he drew breath, eventually points to the spot, but I think that's as soft a penalty as I've seen all season, if it stands.
Well, the VAR is Alan Kias, and I don't know whether the referee felt as he was under pressure to give the penalty, because 5 players, as Villa Park just drew a collective breath. The ball was still inside the penalty area, and everybody just looked at the referee. What are you giving for that? and he's given the penalty. But as you have another look at it, the only thing I think that might save Konsa is the left hand from Madmon comes round and almost hooks his arm at one stage. Konsa went down after that, and you can only say that maybe, just maybe, the referee thought that although he's gone down softly, it was because Madmon had made that initial intervention. I think it's going to stand, and I'm amazed that it is. But Marlon has retrieved the ball, puts it on the spot, and seemingly he's going to be given the chance to make it 2-0. Goalkeeper just told to get back on his line. If you're a visiting supporter or an away fan, a fan of Maccabi, you're very unhappy with that decision.
Yep, you certainly will be. We'll soon see whether Daniel Marlon can punish that mistake from Madmon.
So Marlon, who's only scored in one of his last 20 games, puts the ball on the spot. He's made his way back to the edge of the penalty area. The referee just making sure everyone stays back, and he's tucked it into the bottom left-hand corner. Marlon doubling Villa's lead with a controversial penalty to make it 2-0.
Yeah, tucked it away nicely, didn't he? And the goalkeeper actually went the right way, but it was hit hard enough and right along the floor. And Mishpati just couldn't get his hand on it. So Daniel Marlon extends that Villa lead. I would feel a little aggrieved if I was on the visiting team's bench at the nature of that pen. I thought, yes, there was a bit of contact. I thought Ezri Konsa went down very softly, and I don't think that was a pen personally. However, Daniel Marlon, once that decision's been made, he's just got to focus. He's just got to make sure he takes maximum advantage, and he did just that. Good pen.
Not sure it was a dive from Konsa. I think he fell over rather than anything else, but
it's for a little. There's a little coming together. Whether or not he catches his knee with the back of his boot, Jim, as well. Maybe just seeing that there. Maybe that also is another reason why. Maybe he does just very fractionally catch his heel, which makes him then just click his own ankles and together a little bit there, Ezri Konsa. But nonetheless, whether we think it is or it isn't, it's 2-0. That's one thing that is for sure.
Yeah, he's just flicked his left leg with his right foot on the way through. Now, there's a little bit of heated dialogue there between Ollie Watkins, who is out warming up, and some of the Villa fans in front of us. Other Villa fans got back on their feet and applauded him as Martinez, Cruyff turns under pressure inside his 6-yard box, opens it up and plays his way out. But Watkins was not happy at something that was said to him from Villa fans about 8-9 rows in front of us, and made his way not towards the fans in a predatory way, or what's the word, Andy?
Slightly aggressive way.
Yeah, in an aggressive way. But his eyes were out on sticks, and he was not happy at something that was said.
Well, everybody below us, everybody about 6-8 rows below us, is looking around. Clearly something was said from an individual. There's some stewards down there looking to pinpoint and locate this individual. As of yet, I don't think anyone is taking ownership of whatever was said, but clearly there's something said, and it's actually angered a lot of the other Villa fans in and around them.
Well, Watkins will be coming on soon, and will now feel as though maybe he's got a point to make if he didn't before. Just the one goal so far this season for him. So Martinez clips the ball down to the right-hand side of the Villa penalty area where Bakada has it. Double change has been made by Maccabi, incidentally. They brought Yehezkel and Shahar on. They trail by 2-0 with 62 minutes played here on Talksport. Stewards have made their way down. I think the aggressor in the crowd has been identified, or is in the process of being identified, and I would imagine they will be asked to leave very shortly. But the stewards haven't gone into the section of fans as yet, plotting their next move. 2-0 Villa, and Ollie Watkins' name now being sung by the vast majority of the Aston Villa fans here at Villa Park. Konsa's got the ball, Villa leading 2-0. and Watkins and Kamara will both be coming on for the Villa very shortly.
Yeah, look, I would say that's rare. Look, part of your life as a footballer, you know that every now and again there's someone in the crowd that doesn't rate you, doesn't like you, doesn't fancy you, whatever. But there's no need to do it, I think, in Ollie's situation. No need to yell at him like that, clearly offensively, which angered everybody around him. So, because there's so many Villa fans that have all been cheering and chanting for Ollie Watkins and applauding him. I haven't seen anybody ejected from their seat yet, Jim.
No, you're listening to Villa against Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. 63 minutes gone. An opportunity to make the double change. Are they going to make it now? Yes, they are. So Watkins is going to come on and he'll replace Morgan Rogers. It's the first change. And a good ovation for Rogers as he leaves the field. We touched upon it earlier that on match day one in this competition when Villa played Bologna, it was Rogers that was getting the boos. It was the target of the boo boys and the reaction from the home support. So Watkins comes on. The other change sees Kamara come on for Pau Torres. Lindelof moves to centre half. Picard is in at right back now and does well. His first contribution in the back four. Make a sliding challenge and stop Elio Varela's cross finding its way through inside the penalty area.
Yeah, good challenge that from Amare Bajada. He's immediately gone into that right back position. Important challenge as well. Elio Varela is exceptionally fast down the left side. He's got in a couple of times. He did so in the first half too, but one really good cross to Peretz, who maybe should have scored. Good save from Martinez.
Revivo taking a throw inside the Villa penalty area. Bacala's headed that one away very comfortably as well. Back it comes from Elio Varela. Now for Revivo. Revivo trying to find a way past Gesson, who juggled with the ball a bit and then knocked it away. Comes inside the centre circle here for Sissoko for Maccabi. Villa leading 2-0. We're 20 minutes or so inside the second half here on Talksport. Long ball over the top from Shlomo. That's not a bad ball as well. Brought down by Shahar inside the penalty area, but he can't get a shot in. Comes back out for Peretz. Now on the right-hand side of the penalty area. They're forced to work it back to the centre halves as Villa defending well, keeping a tight concertina defensive shape in behind the ball. Sancho, part of that, has laid it back here for Bouba Kamara. Villa should be able to play their way out over on the far touchline with Matson, who just got caught, and it's a free kick to Villa, and that will just ease the pressure in the latest Maccabi attacking phase of play. 2-0 Aston Villa lead.
Yep, and 4-4-2 they're playing now. Daniel Marlon is up there with Ollie Watkins. He might drop a little deeper to maybe receive it, like Morgan Rogers was trying to do. But essentially, you've got Jadon Sancho off the left, you've got Gesson off the right, and you've got Watkins and Marlon through the middle.
Emi Martinez taking the free kick, and he's just chipped it towards halfway for Bakada. He didn't get there. Shahar was able to knock it away. The blonde-haired attacking midfielder who has come on as a substitute. But Bakada can calm things down and find Onana. Onana still in the heart of midfield, but now being partnered by Kamara. And here's Lindelof, who's playing on the left of the two centre-halves, having started at right back. So Konsa stayed where he was on the right of the two centre-halves, and Lindelof has switched from right back to Pau Torres' position on the left of the two. Bakada now working it forward from his refined role at right back. Shahar has it. Shahar inside the centre of midfield goes back for Shlomo. Heitor, and back to him again, and he turns really neatly and then fires the ball straight out of play for a throw that Villa will take. Now, one of the other sides with a 100% record, Sporting Braga, 4-2 down at home to Genk. Now, Rangers still trailing, Palace still leading, 3-1 over on Talksport 2 against AZ. Well, a day that Nottingham Forest drew, Celtic lost, Aberdeen got a creditable point in Europe as well. And Villa in control here with Matson on 45 plus 1 and Marlon from the spot on 59. Kamara getting it forward for Gesson. Gesson has 2 in yellow around him, and he's still done well to be able to win the throw as we get to the midway stage of the second half here on Talksport.
He's an ungainly type of right-sider, isn't he, Evan Gesson? He's not the most fluid when he's silky when he's got the ball, but I tell you, he works really hard for the team, and he's always up and down, always available, happy to receive it in tight areas. I think for what's left of the game now with a 2-0 cushion, I think as Villa are going towards the hold end, it would be nice for the players to get it to those boys in the wide areas. Jadon Sancho, I think his confidence would benefit from getting the ball and producing something a little bit special in what's left of this game. And trying to feed Ollie Watkins. Important now to get him up and running with some goals. It's not been the best start for his season at all. So he needs some service and try and give him some.
Yeah, he's missed the penalty in Europe in that game against Bologna. Just 1 goal in 16, which came here against Fulham. He's also only scored 1 goal in his last 16 European ties, which was in last season's Champions League run against Celtic. Peretz pulled back here by Kamara, and a free kick given Maccabi's way, just inside their own half. Villa up to 5th in the live table, incidentally, above Braga on goal difference. Braga being 2 down and Villa 2 up. The goal difference swing has taken them above the side who came into the night with a 100% record. It's clever play by Jadon Sancho out on the left-hand side, dragging his shoulder, taking the ball in past the full-back and firing a low cross that Aitor can clear. But Asante was easily beaten. Now the counter-attack, though, could be on as they try and break away. And it is the Dutchman Asante that leads it. The former Den Haag man looked up, saw the run of Jehezkel, but he was offside. Had to knock the ball square instead. Difficult one for Varela to bring under control. He's done really well to do so. Slips it down the left-hand touchline. Revivo trying to run the long way round Bakada. The referee's given the lot tonight, but he doesn't give that. Revivo lies face up, but on his back, just over the dead ball line. And now play stops because they've got another player down injured 80 yards away on the edge of their own penalty area. One of the Maccabi defenders is down. It's Shlomo who needs a little bit of treatment. Be a thigh problem for him.
Yeah, it looks like he's holding his hammy, Jim. Looks like he's holding his hamstring, and the goalkeeper is pretty much signalling to the bench that might be his lot. Stretching it off as if he's got cramp, holding his leg up and trying to get him mobile again, get him back on his feet, but he's feeling something in his hamstring area.
Well, Villa fans, I'd love to get your thoughts on the sports bar tonight. The performance, but also to that little incident with Ollie Watkins and
it's a shame
the
that
reaction from the crowd towards him.
It happens, Jim. You get it in games. You're going to always have someone yell something from the stands, but Ollie hasn't started the game. He's on the bench, he's warming up, he's coming back to get stripped and get ready to go, and someone's clearly yelled something which he's took umbrage to, and he's turned round and sort of eyeballed, as you said, this individual, whoever it was. I'm not sure if anyone left. They're still talking about it, they're still sort of finger pointing below us as we speak now, and so clearly what was said must have been really poor.
So play continues. Everybody back up, fit and available with 19 minutes to go. Villa 2, Maccabi Tel Aviv 0. The first time Villa have ever played against Israeli opposition. Maccabi have played English sides 4 times in the past. They've lost them all and scored just the once, which was a goal at home to Stoke back in 2011 in Stoke's last European campaign after they got to the FA Cup final under Tony Pulis. Martinez with a bad error, he's given it away. Jehezkel cross the face of the 6-yard box, and Martinez just gets down and saves it.
Yeah.
But he just passed it out to the substitute in the box.
He did. Don't forget on the back of what happened at Anfield. That's the last thing they needed, but he actually recovered and made amends with a stop as that ball was travelling across the 6-yard box. That's what happens when the game becomes too easy and too slow. You end up getting casual and you do sloppy things.
Villa getting John McGinn ready. He'll be on for his 300th Villa appearance very shortly. Now we're also going to be seeing Yuri Tielemans as well, by the look of it. And Emi Buendia. So a triple change is incoming with just a little over 15 minutes to go. Marlon losing out to Shahar. And then played down towards Elio Varela, Cape Verde international. Lays it back. Fired between Konsa and Lindelof, but nobody can give chase. Peretz does so in vain, knowing it's a lost cause. Konsa's got time. He's got instructions as well from his teammates just to turn. Lay it back to his goalkeeper, and then as he plays it out towards Lindelof misses Maatsen from close range and puts it straight out of play for a throw.
Yeah, look, I don't think they were ever going to win any awards for whatever went on here tonight, the Aston Villa team. They've got a 2-0 lead. There's what we got, about 17 minutes left plus whatever the referee decides to add. If this was to finish 2-0, it'd be a job well done. 3 points, move on. They move into the top 8. That's the objective. As I say, I don't think they were going to win any new admirers for whatever went on here this evening. It's not been special, but it's been so far efficient.
Elio Tavares trying to get to the byline, does get a cross in. In doing so, he angled it back behind the players in yellow and blue. It's half cleared. Sissoko will tease another one in. Should be easy for Maatsen. He was actually beaten in the air by Yehezkel, who was coming in off that right flank, but he's headed it wide, and now to play for a goal kick.
Yeah, looping cross, wasn't it? From this left side to Yehezkel, who actually makes a good run, climbs a little bit above Maatsen, just can't get the header on target.
So here come the changes. Gesson off, and Nana is also coming off. Buendia, the first man to be introduced. John McGinn will be the second, and Jadon Sancho is the final player to be withdrawn. And Yuri Tielemans will get a big ovation as he comes back from injury. So Tielemans has missed the last 7 weeks, having picked up a calf injury at Everton, where he came off at half-time. He replaces Jadon Sancho. He's probably had his best start in a Villa shirt so far.
Did all right tonight. I thought he got better in the first half as the game went on. Second half, didn't see it quite so much. But I think he did okay, Jadon Sancho. We'll kind of give him a little bit more confidence. Great to see Yuri Tielemans back involved, because he's such an important player for this team. When the team are playing really well, he's often at the heart of a lot of the good stuff. So good to see him back out there.
And just announced to the Villa crowd as well that it is game number 300 for McGinn in claret and blue, and he got an even bigger cheer as a result of that. He comes on having scored in 2 of the 3 Europa League ties so far. What a servant he has been.
John,
great acquisition.
He's a sort of player for any era, I think, John. He could have played in any era. He's that type. He can get his foot in. He backs that big backside into you and rolls with the ball very, very cleverly. Get you a goal, nick you a goal here and there, play anywhere across the midfield. He's a proper lad as well. He's a really good boy.
He's come on here on the right wing. Marlon and Watkins still playing up front in this 4-4-2. Beautiful turn by Tielemans. Great ball chipped over the top. Marlon lets it bounce and volleys it towards the top left-hand corner. Keeper's done really well, Miss Paddy. Thrown a hand at it and tips it round the post.
Wow, that wouldn't have been bad from Yuri Tielemans, getting an assist with pretty much his first touch since he's back. He pirouettes on the centre spot and releases Daniel Marlon with an inch-perfect pass. His first touch isn't a great one. He just has to wait for the ball to settle a little bit. I tell you, it's a good save, because the strike is going in. But it's a really good save with his right hand from Mishpati. He pushes it away for a corner.
It's Villa's first corner of the second half as well, that Tielemans is going to go across and take. Swung straight inside the penalty area. Marlon going up for it, but couldn't get the contact he wanted, and it's thrashed clear. And out of play for a throw, which McGinn is in a hurry to take, with 13 minutes to go here on Talksport. The Villa leading 2-0. The referee just tells McGinn to wait. Don't know what he's seen that he's not happy with. Maccabi want to make a change. Are they going to make that before the throw is taken? Doesn't look like it. Still trying to punch the numbers into the board. So the throw can now be taken. Kamara back for Bakada. Takes it down towards the corner flag and then checks, and then Villa with another throw.
Well, the coach wants to make these changes, but they're still defending a situation sort of deep in their own area, really. But they're going to do it, Jim.
So Peretz is coming off, and so too Elio Varela. So you could argue the two most talented players, and Maccabi have declared at 0-2.
Yes,
with a look ahead to a game against Beitar Jerusalem at the weekend.
Yeah, I think they have, because Elio Varela had been really good at times in the second half. Some lovely runs. You mentioned about the ability Peretz has got. I think we've all seen that. He probably should have scored with that really good chance, which Emi Martinez made a top save. But that's their best two players, attack-wise, are going off.
And being replaced by Kevin Andrade, a Venezuelan international winger. He's only 20. They signed from Brazilian football. And the Moldovan international, Ion Nicolaescu, who's got a few decent international goals in his career. 3 against Poland, incidentally, in his career for Moldova. One of the most prolific Moldovan international footballers of all time. So he's come on. You can't miss him. He's got a shock of blonde hair. Not necessarily born that way, I would suggest.
Is it a bit Lamine Yamal looking like?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. No, he's defending at the near post here as Villa win a corner. It's going to be taken with 13 minutes to go. And again, it's swung in very deep. Heads go up for it's half clear. Comes out for Maatsen, urged to shoot. Takes a touch, then rifles one towards goal. And it cannons back his way. Marlon will take over now. Low ball across the edge of the penalty area. That one cleared as well. Shahar getting that one to the sanctuary of halfway. Then chipped back over the top by Kamara. What a ball. McGinn first time. Just too far ahead of Watkins, whose touch was poked goal bound and then cleared off the line. Not that it would have counted, because the offside flag is up against Villa's number 11 anyway.
Yeah, great ball from Kamara out to John McGinn, who's playing wide right, really. Takes a great first touch, fires it across the 6-yard box. And Ollie Watkins is just a fraction offside. He didn't need to be honest. Goalkeeper got there first, actually knocked it onto Watkins, and it very nearly ended up in the back of the net, but the flag very quickly went up.
Yeah, the keeper kicked it, and it hit the Villa man, then flicked off a defender, and it was really close to the whole of the ball being over the line as well before it was cleared. But the offside flag was up correctly. Villa restart with playing a deeper position with Bouba Kamara, who's been so neat and tidy since coming on. Not that that's any surprise, a fine player. Ball laid back for Emi Martinez to Tielemans, to Martinez again, passing out of the penalty area to
lovely stuff.
Lindelof. Just playing through the press with absolute ease. Now Lindelof has it again to find Ezri Konsa, and there are 10 minutes to go here, Andy. Villa comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable now. Comfortable to the point where you don't always have the opportunity to enjoy European matches, but they can do that now, as long as they play sensibly, don't give anything daft away. Just getting a little tippy-tappy at times around the edge of their own box. But so far, they've seemingly negotiating their way out of those tight areas.
10 to go. Villa 2, Maccabi 0. And you're listening to our coverage of the Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Villa very nearly able to thread the ball through towards Watkins. Maccabi again can clear and get it out to the substitute Jehezkel on the right-hand side. The winger who came on about 10-15 minutes or so ago. Another one of the Israeli internationals in this squad. And he's ended up face down on the turf. And Villa are able to bring the ball away and play down towards Ezri Konsa. Konsa almost literally just walking out from the back, finds Kamara, and play will stop again because the Maccabi player is down in need of treatment. That gives us an opportunity to find out what's going on elsewhere. Firstly, we'll go to Ibrox. Rangers chasing the game at home to Roma. In front of Talksport's David Tanner.
3 minutes to go at Ibrox, and it's still Rangers 0, Roma 2. Roma should have had a third. What a miss. Kostas Tsimikas miscued a shot from the left of the 6-yard box, and Zeki Selik threw himself at the ball a yard from goal. It hit his thigh, hit the underside of the bar and bounced out. A real let-off for Rangers. It's Rangers 0, Roma 2, 2 to go.
Going to be another home defeat though. Jehezkel back on his feet, able to continue. We'll go to Selhurst Park. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Palace 3, RZ 1, and they've just had a really good chance, Palace, to make it 4. Kamado from close range couldn't force it home. If they do get one more goal, they'll be in the top 8. The rest of the game is live on Talksport 2. It's Palace 3, RZ 1.
Also in the Conference League, Shelbourne down to 10 men for a lot of the game after James Norris was sent off. And they now trail at home to the Kosovan side, Dritta. Shelbourne 0, Dritta 1, which will be a very disappointing result for Shelbs. Palace leading 3-1, as we heard from Moose. Aberdeen and Shamrock Rovers both drew their games earlier. Forest also drew 0-0 away at Sturm Graz. Unable to make it a second win in 14. And Morgan Gibbs-White missing a penalty in the first half of that game. Elsewhere, Braga have got one back at home to Genk. Braga 3, Genk 4. Ferencvaros leading Ludogorets by 3-1. Lyon had a 100% record at the start of the night, a 2 down away to Real Betis. And so Midtjylland are going to be top of the group. And they're the only team who are going to end the night with 4 wins out of 4. Villa can play the ball forward here. They'll end with 3 out of 4. As Kamara tries to work it into the feet of McGinn. One back by Shlomo, who will just take it down towards the left-hand touchline, and then Revivo can get it forward towards halfway. Looking for Nicolaescu. Couldn't turn. Konsa gets it away. Matson backpedaling, heads it clear of Zhehezkel. Now out to the Maccabi right-hand side, where possession is quickly lost. Very well won back by the retreating Watkins. That was great industry from him there. Coming out of the centre-forwards position, down almost to left back to win that back. Villa switch it quickly from the left to the right. Bakada can come forward. Now playing it right back. Back he goes, though, behind square to find Kamara. That takes a little bit of the momentum out of this latest Villa move. Kamara again to his right for Bakada, and straight back again. Now into the feet of Tielemans. Tielemans looking for Marlon, but slid away by Madmon, who gave away the penalty that Daniel Marlon converted about 25 minutes or so ago. Zhehezkel can bring it forward, makes his way into the penalty area. Nicolaescu attacking the near post. Matson gets the cross away, and then McGinn just flicks it down for Tielemans, and he can try and bring it forward, and then he's fouled. Free kick to Villa, 15 outside the penalty area as we go into the final 5.
Yeah, they're just running the clock down now. Aston Villa, when they have possession, there's no genuine need or want to push it forward too quickly and unnecessarily. They're like programmed in this sort of situation. You feel Unai Emery's team to just have what they have, keep it, and thanks very much. You know, it's not in their nature to think we can really knock 6 or 7 past this lot. They don't need to. They don't want to expend too much energy. He utilises the squad. He's made plenty of changes. It's just the way he tends to see it in these matches. Sometimes it's a little frustrating for the fans. You can hear them urging the team to get it forward a bit quicker, but they don't, because that's what the players been drilled into the players, and it's served them well, particularly here at Villa Park.
Yeah, goal difference could be important. I mean, my gut feeling is that Villa will be okay, and they will be inside the top 8 on points, but at the moment they're just behind Braga. After Braga got one back in that game against Genk, Villa have slipped to 6th again on goals scored. Doesn't matter, of course, at the halfway stage, 1 iota. And with the games that Villa have got coming up, Young Boys here next, and they go to Basel and then Fenerbahce away before finishing the campaign at home to Salzburg. Villa have got plenty in hand, you'd think, for a top 8 finish, but yeah. You'd be frustrated the way that Villa do see out games like this. You would be frustrated if you went out on goal difference. Marlon, or not went out, but were forced to play in that playoff round on goal difference. It certainly won't be going out. Sissoko's got it, and he's laid it back for Hater in the midfield. And he goes out towards the right-hand side for Asante, played forward by the right back, out towards Zhehezkel, who's been quite lively since coming on, trying to beat Matson, then took a tumble inside the penalty area to his credit, not looking for anything, he was straight back on his feet. Buendia helped to get it away before Matson was then fouled over on that far touchline, and there are 3 minutes to go.
Yeah. Yep, again, start of the evening, it was all about just making sure they get this one done properly, and I think they've done that. 1 or 2 moments for concern, but only 1 or 2. Never really had to overextend themselves, and it looks like a relatively comfortable victory. You know, that young boy who's come on up front, what's his name, Jim? Nicolaescu.
The 98, yeah.
The one who looks like Lamine Yamal.
Yep.
He's got the haircut. Did you see his goal last night, Lamine Yamal?
Absolutely.
What a great goal that was, wasn't it?
I mean, he's no Mickey van der Ven, but it was it was a great goal.
It was a proper goal, wasn't it? It really was brilliant. What a game that was. I was commentating on that one, Bruges-Barca. It was amazing. Crazy game. 3-3 could have been anything, that, but his goal was a bit useful.
Yeah, stood on the away end at Farnborough. We were having a look at the goals as they were going in, and it was, was it stunning game.
What time would that have been back for most of the Torquay fans? What time would they have got back from that one?
Oh, about a week on Wednesday. Here's Kamara, but only because the 303 was shut. Kamara back out of the left-hand side of the penalty area, and it'll be knocked forward again by Lindelof. Lindelof in the left-back position. The fact we're talking about Farnborough against Torquay kind of tells you there's no jeopardy left in this one with 2 minutes to go. Villa leading by 2-0. And there's a poor challenge coming in on Buendia, who's back on his feet. Referee's playing advantage because Villa has still got it with Konsa. And he can take it forward towards halfway. Pauka beating Young Boys 4-0 in Europe tonight. Just a final thought about Villa and the fact that they are managing the situation very carefully here. A couple of years ago, in the opening 10 league games of the season, Villa scored 26. Yeah. Last season they got 17. This year they got 9. Yeah. Are you concerned by that?
I think they would have to. That's something that they've got to look at. They know those numbers have got to be better. Certainly in the Premier League, they've got to look to convert and create more. I think at the top of the field, better decisions. You know, there's been some change in the squad and the team, but I think that's got to improve.
Oh, that's a nice ball from Bakada. Watkins chasing after it, and it was well covered by Revivo, who's been as good as any of the Maccabi players tonight at the left back. He slid in there and put it out of play for a throw.
They've been honest, an honest team that have given everything they have. That they had 1 or 2 nice situations first half, never made the most of those, and as soon as Villa scored, really, the tie you felt was effectively done. You're never comfortable till the second one, till that penalty, which was, I think, very debatable. Villa got the benefit of that one, and Doniel Marlon tucked it away, and from that moment onwards, really, it's been pretty much all said and done. So, yep, reasonable night's work for Villa, but it's a good win. It's a good win.
2-0 they lead. And the fourth official has got the number board in his hand. We'll find out how many extra minutes are going to be added on very shortly. Not many, I wouldn't imagine. The goals from Maatsen and Marlon. The difference between the two teams are 6 have been added. The Maccabi players will be seeing their hearts sink as that comes up. Aitor, 15 yards outside his own penalty area, lays it back. Shlomo with the ball chipped down the left-hand side for Revivo. McGinn's tracked him every step of the way. Chests it down, and Bakada then can lay it back towards Konsa, who goes behind square for Martinez. He's just invited Nicolaescu to try and make a challenge, but he's passed to the left-hand side of the penalty area anyway for Lindelof, and now it goes out to Watkins once more, dropping deep, linking up the play. Ollie Watkins for Bouba Kamara. Kamara over the top, trying to get Doniel Marlon in, but the defensive header was a good one from the centre-half back to his goalkeeper.
Nice run that, Doniel Marlon. Ollie Watkins had dropped short. Bouba Kamara, about 3 or 4 yards from the halfway line, in his own half, fizzes one, pings one, 50-odd yards, and almost drops it on a sixpence for that Doniel Marlon run. In the end, it was reasonably well defended.
Just a reminder, more live football coming your way tomorrow night on Talksport 2. Watford against Bristol City. EFL action, the big one, Stoke Coventry. 3 o'clock Saturday afternoons also on Talksport 2. And 2 Premier League games live and exclusive to Talksport on Saturday. 12:30 Spurs Manchester United. And 8 o'clock Wolves go to Chelsea. Still looking for their first win of the Premier League season. They may not be looking for a manager by then. Maatsen gets the ball forward. Out towards Buendia. In the second minute of 6 added on. Marlon with a lovely turn. I think that the goal, albeit a penalty, will have done him the world of good tonight. His third of the campaign. Back towards Lindelof. That Braga-Genk game has finished. Braga 3, Genk 4. Tielemans out of the left for Maatsen. Maatsen still inside his own half, and just retreats and retreats some more. Just waits for the challenge from Shaheshko before laying it back towards Victor Lindelof. If the two managers were offered the full-time whistle here, they would both take it without a shadow of a doubt. Konsa down towards Bakada. Bakada trying to nudge it in past Nicolaescu, who has, from a position prone on the ground, flicked it into Konsa and out of play for a throw. Final thoughts, Andy. What have you made of Villa's performance? I mean, it's job don't get me wrong, a much changed side, and they've won 2-0. That's all you can ask.
I wasn't expecting anything really more than what we've seen. I think we've seen neat and tidy. One or two moments that were good. One or two perhaps causes for concern. More of a lack of concentration here and there that allowed Maccabi one or two moments, one or two good situations that they never really made the most of. No, but in the main, I think it's been relatively straightforward. You're never happy until the second one goes in, but once they got that penalty and it was tucked away, that was game, set and match.
Nicolaescu chasing here. Revivo probably with his worst pass of the night has sent it far too close to Martinez, who could saunter out and make a comfortable claim. And he's given the full 8-second count here before dropping the ball on the floor. And he was well into the 8th second before he did so. Timed it well. Just drops it, flicks it past Nicolaescu. Villa again playing out from the back, inviting the press and just playing through it beautifully. Now, can they end the night with goal number 3? They'll bring him forward here before another cynical challenge in the midfield sees Maatsen fouled, and the free kick will be taken by Villa on the centre spot.
Yeah, that should be a yellow card, that as well. That's a blatant challenge to just disrupt that really nice move that Villa stitched together there. Maatsen was sprinting across the halfway line, and he's quick. He really is, but Asante just clattered into him, took him out. I think gets the benefit because we're pretty much done.
Ball kept in here on the Maccabi left. We're in the 5th of the 6 additional minutes. Shlomo bringing the ball forward into the edge of the centre circle, looking for Sissoko. Played back to the full-back again, and now out of the goalkeeper to Shlomo. Shlomo clearing it from inside his own penalty area. Villa 2 up, deep in stoppage time here on Talksport. Sports Bar open for business, taking your calls. 08717 22 33 44. Getting your reaction, Villa fans, to this, from Forest fans to a 0-0 draw. Did you see further green shoots of recovery under Sean Dyche earlier? Another win in Europe for Crystal Palace after the frustrations of their last European game at Selhurst Park. Got those out of the system. Your calls being taken all night by the boys on 08717 22 33 44 with the Sports Bar here on Talksport. Last knockings of this one. Tielemans, 4 for McGinn. McGinn slipping it in. It's a great ball. Watkins taking it on, but he had 3 defenders converging on him. And Asante did enough to stop him getting a shot in. The goalkeeper comes out to make the save.
Yeah, unlucky that. Nice spot from John McGinn when he received the ball 5 yards into the Maccabi half of the field. He saw Ollie Watkins' run, put it in his path, but Watkins couldn't just quite take it in full flow and was just in the end denied by the defender getting a foot in.
Palace are 1-3-1. Details to follow in a moment. Kamara lays it back for Bakada. Bakada to the edge of his own penalty area for Konsa. The referee's looked at his watch a couple of times and does so again. Martinez down to the left, and that is that. Victor Lindelof with the last touch of the night, and Aston Villa have got the job done. Very routine in the end. Took them half an hour to get going, and inside that opening half hour, Maccabi Tel Aviv missed a couple of presentable opportunities. No more than half chances, really. But Ian Maatsen put Villa ahead right at the end of the first half with a brilliant finish. Soft penalty gave Villa a chance for a second, converted by Daniel Marlon. It's another win to 0, and Villa end the night in the top 6 of the group. Aston Villa 2, Maccabi Tel Aviv 0. Match day 4 ticked off.
Jim, thank you very much. You're listening to Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes 18 and over, gambleaware.org, as the Villa fans sing their team off after seeing them pick up another win here at Villa Park in the Europa League. Before we look back on that game, let's check in with all of the full-time scores. It's finished at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace taking on AZ Alkmaar in the Conference League, so let's bring you a full-time report with Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
Palace 3, Alkmaar 1. Maxime Lacroix put Palace ahead in the 22nd minute. Before that, they'd already missed the penalty, hit the post and hit the crossbar, so they kind of deserved to lead, really. Saar either side of half-time made the game safe. That was in between a comeback goal really by Mayans, which was no more than a consolation for RZ. Near the end, Kamada had a swing at the ball, stuck it in the back of the net, but it was disallowed for offside, and he was miles offside. But it's made up in some way for the defeat to Larnaca here. Palace very much now back on course in the Conference League. Finished here, Crystal Palace 3, RZ Alkmaar 1.
Ian, thank you. And to Ibrox there, where Rangers were taking on Roma in the Europa League. David Tanner.
Rangers 0, Roma 2. Rangers remain at the bottom of the pile. Team 36 of 36 in the Europa League. Only they and Nice are without a point. Rangers bottom because of their goal difference of -7. Played 4, lost 4. Roma enjoyed 70% possession, and first half goals from Mattias Sula and Lorenzo Pellegrini won this one at a canter. The second half was memorable for the Rangers fans chanting against Sporting Director Kevin Thelwell, the man responsible for some pitiful signings in the transfer window. His big money, £8 million signing Yusuf Chermouti, again misfired in front of goal in the first and the second half. Rangers have been transformed from a side that reached the quarter-finals last season to a team placed at the bottom of the Europa League table this year. Rangers 0, Roma 2.
David, thank you. Quick run through of all of the results then from earlier on in the Europa League. It finished goalless between Sturm Graz and Nottingham Forest. And Celtic lost in Denmark 3-1 to FC Midtjylland. In the Conference League, AEK Larnaca and Aberdeen drew 0-0. And AEK Athens and Shamrock Rovers also finished as a draw, a score draw 1-1, although it was a late 90th minute penalty that Shamrock Rovers conceded. Shelbourne lost at home to Drita from Kosovo. They had James Norris sent off, but it was a 1-0 win in the end. And in League One, Liam Richardson has won his first league game in charge of Reading as they beat Stevenage by 1-0 to move them up to 12th in the table. So let's take a look back on this game here at Villa Park with the former Villa midfielder Andy Townsend. I mean, that... And Darren Ambrose also joins us from Selhurst Park as well. Andy, let's get your thoughts on this performance as a whole then. It might not have been the barnstorming victory that that Villa fans and Villa would have wanted. Nonetheless, it's 3 points.
3 points. Now, look, it was a strange atmosphere when we all arrived at Villa Park earlier. Seeing so many police outside the ground and a bit of a subdued atmosphere inside, a lot of empty seats. Not having any away fans here as well, it doesn't do either set of players any good, because you want a pumping atmosphere in a European night. We had so many last season, so it's very different. And Villa started okay, got a little bit better, a little bit sloppy here and there, scored just before half-time. Once they got the second, that was game, set and match. So I didn't learn anything that much tonight. Some good minutes for Jadon Sancho. I thought he did okay. Thought one or two other notable performances. Pagada in midfield, always neat and tidy, works hard, tries to do the job. Good to see Yuri Tielemans coming back in. Yeah. Ollie Watkins wasn't able to get involved enough when he come on, because the game was pretty much wrapped up by then. So yeah, nothing really much to take from it other than 3 very valuable points, and they're where they want to be now in the table. Yeah, they're into the top 8, which is the all-important aim, which Unai Emery has spoken about. They're up to 5th as a result. Just quickly, and I don't want to labour on a negative, but something that Jim mentioned as well in commentary is the fact that they're not scoring that many goals. In fact, they've not won a game by more than 2 goals this season in the 14 games that they've played in all competitions. What are they lacking? Is it that creative spark to help Marlon and Watkins? Yeah. Or is that clinical edge not there either? I personally think sometimes, I think this team are that good, and they have it in their DNA almost now to play the game a very specific way. Sometimes they're not quite as spontaneous as you'd like them to be. I think they do reset the game a lot. They go back to the goalie. Ezri Konsa and Pau Torres touch the ball tonight probably more than any other players. It's kind of what Villa do, and when they do it well against good teams, like against Man City when I was here 10 days ago, whatever it was, they were very, very good and very, very accomplished at what they were trying to set out to. When you've got to beat teams and expected to beat teams, sometimes playing a little slow can frustrate, and then it can become a little bit of a slog. And it felt like that at times in the first half. And as I say, they weren't going to get any genuine plaudits or win any new admirers for whatever happened tonight. It's just about getting the win. But in terms of getting those chances and scoring more goals now, I'd like to see them being a little more spontaneous with their forward play. Players carrying the ball. Morgan Rogers does it probably as well as anybody. We saw it once or twice tonight, but I think they could do with doing that a bit more.
Well, you mentioned obviously the return of Yuri Tillemans, which will be massive for Aston Villa, especially when you look at some of the balls that he can play, which nearly set up Marlon.
Do you know, you're right. When he was on for however long he came on for, I'm not sure how many minutes it was he actually had under his belt, but he looked forward more times probably than anybody else, and he released Daniel Marlon pretty much with his first touch, who could well have scored. He's going to be an important player for Villa now from now on, and if they keep him right, keep him fit, get him up to full speed. If he gets enough minutes under his belt over the next few weeks, he starts every week. He's there. He's a go-to midfield player for Unai Emery, but he's got to get up to speed. The manager won't pick him and play him if he thinks he's not quite ready, not quite right, but very, very good and encouraging to see him back.
Well, we can see him out on the pitch right now going through his processes of cooling down.
Do you know, I used to hate that. Do you know, I used to hate the warm down. I was always very reluctant with regards to a warm down. When they used to say, you know, you've just been running around for 90 minutes, go on, go and have a jog. No, I don't want to have a jog, I want to get in the bath. You know, can I have a jog round tomorrow morning somewhere? I'd rather not go out there and do it now. I mean, Yuri's doing it because he's not had enough minutes, perhaps. They want to get as much fitness into his lungs as they possibly can, but it used to drive me mad, that warm down. Oh God,
get it off your chest.
Yeah, exactly. Don't miss that.
Let's quickly take you to Selhurst Park, check in with Darren Ambrose, the former Palace midfielder who saw his former side beat Alkmaar 3-1 in the Conference League. Darren, good evening to you. What was that game like then?
It was really good. First of all, I agree with Andy there, by the way. I used to hate jogging at the end of the game as well. You know what I'd done, though? I just jogged the last 10 minutes of the game, and that was all I'd done. I didn't end up sprinting, just said, look, I've done my jogging, it's fine. But no, the game was really good. It was chalk and cheese compared to the Larnaca performance. To a man, everyone was absolutely fantastic. Got a bit tricky when Minan scored in about the 54th minute. But the response from Crystal Palace and the goal that Ismaila Sarr scored, his second goal, Mateta played him through. It was a fantastic run, and it was a delightful finish from a player who's razor sharp in front of goal, by the way, Ismaila Sarr. But yeah, all round, good start from Alkmaar. First 10 minutes, they started really well, come out fast, but then Crystal Palace just dominated. And to be honest, 3-1 flattered Alkmaar in the end. It could have been 5, 6 or 7 in the end.
Well, it was the result that Palace needed, as you said, after that defeat last time out. Darren, thank you very much for being with us. It's time now for us to pick our man of the match in the Villa versus Maccabi Tel Aviv game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here for It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
All right, it all comes down to you, Andy.
Esri concert tonight. I think he was assured, composed, looked very confident, and again, lots of changes, but I think he was very, very good.
Yeah. A name perhaps we'll see in that England squad tomorrow as
well.
Very true. That was our Here for It hero man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.